Good morning, traders, guys. Get ready. We're about to get some fireworks at 8:30. So, of course, we got CPI Day. So, we'll be focused on the CPI report. I want to really quickly get into our sunrise report and get ready to trade because right when this happens, trading is going to be happening all around the market. Let's get to today's sunrise. All right, kicking it off with the economic data here. Of course, economists are surveyed here for a 0.2 increase on all items, of course, on core consumer price index, right? We'll be focusing at 3%. That's what we'll be looking at for the year over year look. The core is at 3.2% expected. We'll see what happens here. Of course, the route is going back to 2%, but anything at 3% or lower, of course, is going to be kind of weighing in that, yes, 100% we're getting these rate cuts in September. Now, anything above that 3%, let's say going towards 3.3, a little bit of a spike, that could actually cause no interest rate cuts in 2024. So that's what we need to keep on watch. I think that that's what's here, the important action to look at. But let's get to the second news report as we got a lot to get through before the 8:30 time here. So the next one up is Mars. Mars, of course, has some big news as in the consumer world. M&M and Snickers, baby, just made a big deal. They're buying up here a massive $36 billion deal to acquire Kellanova. So pay attention to this. The company, of course, that brings you the Cheez-Its and Pringles. Mars is paying $83.50 per share in an all-cash transaction, a solid 33% premium to Kellanova's stock price before the news broke. So keep your eyes on Kellanova and the packaged food space as this should see some lift today. We'll get to the next one here. Let's talk a little bit about Intel, right? Over the tech sector, of course, Intel has been making headlines. They did sell off 1.18 million shares in, of course, ARM Holdings. So keep your eyes on that. We'll see what happens when CPI comes in here, but definitely Intel selling out. That's not a good sell here for Intel. Let's get to the next report here. Of course, we'll be taking a look at Alphabet. Alphabet, of course, Google taking a slight dip following reports on Bloomberg that the Justice Department might push for a breakup in Google. So this is going to be big eyes on this because if Google's going to start breaking up, then we need to start taking a look at which part of Google would we want to have, right? Which part of the business segment would we want? So pay attention to see what happens in this. Let's get to the next one here as I talk a little quickly about Flutter Entertainment. Of course, Flutter Entertainment, your gambling stock, EPS up at 261, up from 167. Revenues surged 3.6 million from 3.00 million. They forecasted a strong full year U.S. revenues between 6.5 and 6.35 billion. So big moves here. And the last one up is going to be Victoria's Secret as we get shots in the market here. I need to get back to the market here. Let's get to it, guys. The market is moving all around here. I need to go focus on it. CPI is coming in. Let's see what we got here. I'm seeing Sockell's first move was a spike to the upside. Now the downside coming in here. Let's go to the overall market. Of course, I might trade the Sockell itself. Looking to see what happens on the report. I'm looking around to see what I got. If you guys see the report out there, let me know as I'm going to go ahead and read it here. It looks like we got an increase here at 0.2. So 0.2 actually brings it a little bit lower. And then if we look at the 12 months, 2.9%, lower than the 3% expected, back into twos. Clear the room, guys, because this is going to be able to go ahead and continue the lift off right back. So it looks like that sell-off that we got just recently, well, there's your V bottom. This actually looking good here for the news. Now, if the SPY goes red, that would really surprise me. But here you guys have it. We're really getting a nice little lift on the first action. 543.54 on the SPY was kind of that first stop. I did see a fake out there in Sockell where you went up there to 26.16 and then right back down to the 25 spot. Let's see how Sockell went on that. 35 dip buy would have been beautiful. It's back to 36.35 on this news. And there really isn't that much negative. The only thing that really you need to take a look at is that Shelter. Shelter is still where the inflation is. The index for shelter rose 0.4%, accounting for nearly 90% of the monthly increase in all items. So if it wasn't for shelter, would we be back down maybe 2.8, 2.7, maybe even down to 2.6? This is a surprising news to me, at least, as I was looking to see what would happen off of this. But definitely, guys, take a look at the action. It's going to be all over the place. A lot of action moving around here with the CPI report. Smash the like, guys. We got a lot to take a look at. And as you guys can see, now, I'm not having a bad day to start the day, guys. I made a really great trade in Serve, so I'm ready to trade in Sockell. Sockell pulling back here. There's no reason why I feel like the market should take a down hit today. If it starts to take a down hit, that's just trying to shake people out, I feel like, because really the numbers came in here great. Now let's see what happens on the action here. We are getting a little bit of a pullback. A little part of me feeling like going long the Sockell trade. But man, it's just surprising that we're not even just ripping off of this. So interesting trade here as you're getting a lot of action. NVIDIA actually going down. It went up to 119, now back down to 117. Is this just a buying opportunity? I'm not sure, man. The consumer price index not showing much negative as food and energy rose 0.2%. Nothing crazy there. So I'm wondering where the negativity here is. I do see one area that is definitely bringing down inflation, which is used cars and trucks. So used cars and trucks inflation coming down fast there. So that could actually help like different companies out there, but just noting it here, looking through the index to see what else is being talked about. What are you guys seeing out there? I'm not seeing too much here. So I want to go see why we're getting a down action here, right? I mean, it rose 0.2, right? That was a 3% gain over the last year. I mean, it really wasn't that bad. So, hey, this is going to be a surprising one. I'm sure even the talking heads on CNBC right now are shaking their heads, wondering what's going on here, guys. A lot of action coming back and forth here. We'll see what happens with this report now that we're getting the back and forth action here. And of course, will they just kind of lift it right back? I think this is one of those that, man, a little part of me feels like going long here because it's the only thing that makes sense, at least from the report. But hey, you know how that goes, guys. Let's go ahead. Let's see what we can get here. 35.32 on that pullback. Hit double bottoms there. I'm just going to continue to watch it here to see what we get. Looks like we're just kind of shaking, kind of creating a range right now. So would like to look to see if we come back down towards this 34.77 before I can start going long here. We'll find out here, guys. I really don't want to just jump in on the 35.50s right now because the market's shaking and it shouldn't even be on pretty much a shake. The CPI report, pretty good report here for them. And with that mentioned, you know, what would that give? That'd give industrials maybe a little lift there. So CAT, I'll be kind of watching that today. Deere, we'll be watching that. I think today we really need to watch to see what happens with the report after, right? Serve was one of my best trades earlier today. I'll look to see if that can continue going. We'll talk a little bit about that coming up, but let's keep focusing on the CPI report as we're getting some shake in the market. We'll see. I mean, definitely surprised to see this kind of not just booming right now. So interesting, guys. Buy the rumor, sell the news. Hey, could be, guys, right? Now, the big thing is also the retail report tomorrow. Do they know about the retail report tomorrow? Of course, recession concerns will be mentioned on that retail report, right? Will we get a good number? Will we see consumers slowing down? It's going to be one of those days. You know where you're at, guys. It's Trade the Pool. Let's stock and roll. Let's try to find some good trades out there, guys. Got a nice $200, $223 cushion this morning on a really nice trade on Serve. So ready to go ahead and serve it up out there, guys. Let's see what we can come up with today and see what we can trade here. So going back to Sockell, you guys can see how we're now balancing out at this 35.40s, 35.20s. The SPY is kind of just hanging in there, trying to pull back a little bit there. But the Qs overall, that's what I want to focus on. NVIDIA, I want to focus on Apple. Apple's one that, right, there should be a lift on this, right? We'll see what happens. Amazon also coming back down, 170.25. I don't know, man. This is pretty interesting action off of the report. The report really wasn't that bad. So hey, we'll see what happens out there. Taking TTP for a swing, for a try today. Hey, get after it, man. Get after it. All right, we'll see what else is out there, guys. Seeing the action out there. I'm seeing this a smaller name. Just want to take a look at it. ALBT getting a huge lift here, and just a few minutes ago started to really lift off here. Went to the 70 cents. So this one, ALBT, from 30 cents all the way up to 75 cents. Man, what a move there. And it's a real estate service company. Not something you see often. DGLY, another one that was moving this morning. We'll see what happens on that one. It's holding the 150 pullback. Big news, though, out of VSCO. Victoria's Secret gets the lift there, goes to 23. Now pulling sideways, 22 available here if you're trying to play this back to the upside. And I think this is all dependent on the market, right? If the market's going to just continue to get to the upside lift, will Victoria's Secret continue to get the lift off their CEO mention? I thought this was really impressive. I mean, I didn't expect to see Victoria's Secret get 20%, 22% on that first pop. We'll look to see if we get right back up there. Can we go to the 2250s? Yeah, it makes sense here, at least to the 2250s. We'll see if we kind of start to break out here. Nice little bottoming effect, nice little hammer here. So maybe a pullback towards 2188, 2190s makes sense here, but doesn't look bad there for VSCO to continue. And for that mention, Starbucks. We'll see what happens on Starbucks as it went all the way up there to the 97 in the after hours. We'll look to see if it continues through the 96 today. Not a bad one to keep an eye out for. Sockell now starting to get a little bit of that lift there after pulling back. Now it's starting to push here back towards the 3580s. So it seems to me like we have the doors open to start seeing a nice run here. The only question is, will the stock start to follow? Apple starting to make a little bit of an up move there. Nvidia starting to come back there. AMD is one that I'd keep on a watch on a day like today. Yesterday, I talked about how it could have a really good day, and it did have a really good day. Now it's starting to really kind of turn. Let's see if we can get a big boom back towards maybe 150 today on this AMD. Would look for the 142 to hold now as we start to clear 142 and getting above that. You guys can see it. There's the nice little push there to 142.71. So definitely in play today. AMD will look for some pullback to that 142. But definitely not a bad one to watch out there, guys. Nvidia right back to the top. So it looks like we are getting that Sockell move. So it doesn't look too bad to see this break through the 36 and hold. Let's see if this breaks out through this 36 right now. I might take this trade right here, guys. This is kind of more of a scalp opportunity here. The 70s is kind of the pullback. 50s would be the risk. So got to keep that in mind here. Might go after it at a smaller size and just look to kind of give myself a little bit more cushion on the day, right? Let's see if we can do that here on this pullback. Get this pullback approach here. The 15 minutes still hasn't broken above or below this level. So that's another thing that I'm looking at here. Now we tried to recover the 36 spot. Will we recover the 36 spot? That's going to be the important outlook here. Will it just go right back through that 36 going towards 3650s? That's kind of the outlook right now in Sockell. I could look for one more pullback as we just created a second high, right? Will we create kind of this kind of flag or pennant kind of outlook where we come back now and we go and test this 3520s? We could just be kind of chomping in between this now, starting to create kind of that 1, 2, 3. Then you get that nice little pullback approach. Then it kind of starts to chomp around here. That's the way that I'm looking at it right now. I don't think it's just going to do just a quick move to the upside. I think it's going to try to trap some people here at 36, even though it doesn't seem like a bad report. It looks like a report that should just get bought, but we'll see what happens out there. Liquidity grabs before the longer move, perhaps. Yeah, I mean, there's always liquidity grabs when you're getting these moves, day trade Tony. Of course, you know that, right? But just to talk about it for some other traders out there, right? Of course, when the reports come in and the economic data comes in, what do the market makers do? They go wide, right? They go super wide so they can start taking some bids, they can take some offers and pretty much play in between, right? Make it really wide to give themselves the advantage. And I think that's exactly what you saw there on the first spike down, those Sockell traders, what happens if you have, for some reason, a trade out there, right? And you are long a big amount of share size. And then you look on the tape and you're like, oh crap, I'm down $1,000 really quickly. Do you hit the out button? And then all of a sudden it comes right back up and you're just frustrated. This is why I don't trade too much before the numbers, like trying to just super load up and then take that trade. Because the truth is, the only way to take that type of trade is if you're hedging some way, right? Maybe if you're hedging and giving yourself a little bit of advantage, that's not the worst, but we'll see what happens on it. Tesla will go up a lot. It's undervalued against 10-year interest rates. That has nothing to do with Tesla's price. So if that's the reason why you're buying Tesla, man, I don't know, costs. I don't think anybody would agree with that. That's not why you trade Tesla, right? Tesla runs on story. It runs when it had the robotics mention, right? But then they pushed back the robotics day. If you know, when is the robotics day? I'll push you to the limit. I'll test you. If you're really a Tesla investor or trader, you'll know when the robotics day is going to be. I'll give you a hint. It's going to be in October. But what date? Tell me. All right, let's go ahead. Let's take a look here. Sockell trying to make that move higher through that 36. It still hasn't made the move, but I'd take a look at other trades, right? AMD is one that I really like there. That pulled back there for the 142, cut below that. Now starting to hold that and starting to push off of that 142. Could take 143 here and really start to push. So not a bad level to look for is maybe this resistance, 142.50s, looking to see if that can hold here and really start to push off of that. Nice little pullback just recently to 142.16. Now you're trying to take out this high here at the 142.80. We'll look to see if it takes that right there at the 142.80s right now. So we'll look to see if AMD can just get going here and really start to push. Intel, of course, doing that cost cutting, and I don't feel too positive about what they did, but it actually is getting a lift on this. ARM is getting a lift, even though it was getting hit a little bit earlier. But I'm looking to see a lot of these tech names. Even I was looking at maybe a success type of trade, but after this report, it's very hard to look at success. It just, to me, it's almost impossible to look at success on a day like today. I'll keep watching Sockell to see what happens. There's the recovery back through 36, back through 36.11. So maybe that first dip back to 35, 33, 35, 40s was definitely a nice little buy. I mean, even if you're getting, let's say, that's 40, 50 cents here. Can you really be mad? That's not a bad little 50 cents, 60 cents to have been made. Definitely hesitated a little bit on that buy because I was a little confused. I felt like this should really kind of rip, and we didn't get it. All right, let's keep going. We'll see what else is out there. Presidential election seasonality, also bullish for Tesla. I don't think that really plays in. If you have to know who's going to be the president, because if you know the statistics on incumbent presidents, right, I think you need to take a look a little bit more into that statistics there. Cost. So I think that, you got to know more and more about Tesla. Tesla's not running because of the way the presidential elections are going. It's not running because of the interest rates, or it's not being held back because of that. It's being held back because they're losing on margins, right? And they need new products. So the robotics is what really gets things going. That's what brings Tesla back into the focus of not being an auto manufacturer, but being a tech company. But that's just my thinking. We can run back and forth on that. There's no need to talk about Tesla here. Sockell to 36.30s now, trying to keep going. So definitely missed out on that buy there. So now at this point, this pattern's not playing out. Got to look for pullbacks or look for the other stocks to start to push, right? So Apple can look for that to start making a move. Daily chart on Apple is really recovering now and starting to make a big boom. So I think we start looking around to see what we can trade there. VSCO, I just talked about it just a second ago, that it could maybe make a move right back through that 22. It's back towards 21.80s. Doesn't look too bad. Had good news today. Hey, who knows? Maybe it goes right back to this 23. That's an easy dollar on a stock that's gotten a nice little pullback just recently. Could push right back to the upside. And for this one mentioned, you could take a look to see if some other trades start to make the move there. Nike has been getting a nice little push back here. That's another one that I'm going to keep watch. Yesterday, big day for Nike, up about 5%. Could keep going today. and just start pushing towards that resistance towards 79 and 80s. We could have an inside day to 76, but it doesn't seem bad here to take the 78.50s, start to push towards the 79. And you can take a look at like other kind of tech names to see how those are moving. Look at SMCI. That's really gotten the move. A lot of options traders taking some big bets there. SMH is another one that maybe look for just kind of scalping action, right? So we'll see what happens on this one. Spreads a little wider on an ETF like this, but you can take a look to see what does well in this ETF, right? Right now, I'm seeing Micron, Skyworks getting a little bit lift off of this. So there's Micron back through 100, just pulled back to the 148. Might look for like a little bit of a pullback to 100, and then maybe playing Micron on this pullback. We'll look to see if it gets back through 100. A little gap there towards 176 could fill today. We'll see what happens. Got a high right now of 186. So it was trying to fill that gap. I'd look for a little pullback to see if I can get it below 100. Wouldn't be a bad one to take a look at. Serve breaking out. And Shane, look at the bottom. Look where your name is. Look at the cash right there in Serve. I made a really nice trade there in Serve. It's up there now towards 1360s. I got this, guys, below 12. So I was getting this before the breakout. I liked the way that it was setting up in the morning on the 15-minute chart. So I tried to get in there right below 12. I got the first entry at 12, the second entry at 11.95, selling some out and majority of it at 12.30s. Would love to have held it a little bit longer, right? Maybe towards the 13s on those 400 shares. But I just needed to make sure I got myself a nice little cushion on the day. Got that 138, kept 100, and said, I'll run it to see what happens with Serve. Not a bad trade there. Got out on the top shares at 12.86. Could have tried to push it to 13, but I said, you know what? I'm being greedy here. What is that? $14. Take the money and run, Mitch. Not a bad 223 to start the day. All right, guys. So I'm up about 630 for the week. Of course, you guys know I've been trying to hit that $1,000 goal for this week. Let's see if we can get it today and just hit a nice little win. All right, Google looks weak compared to others. And I think this is all has to do with the news that I talked about this morning. If you didn't see it, of course, we're talking about it, how there could be the Justice Department breakup, forced breakup on Google. So Google is the one that I would think you would see less relative strength today. I'd be looking at other names because Google has a negative catalyst out in the market. I don't want to get caught in one that does have that negative. All right, guys, what's up out there? Let's go. Let's go. All right, let's see what else is trading on the day like today. Of course, technology getting the lift there. SPY back to 543. So that spike down to 541. What a gift in Sockell on that first pullback to 35. If you're able to get that, I mean, shout out to you. You had to have been really fast. Sockell getting up there towards 36.36, now pulling back to the 36.20s. We'll look to see if this just continues to just grind higher. AMD now towards 143. I talked about it when it was at 142.50s. Now it's up there towards the 143s. We'll look for a drop back to 142. See if I can get it towards the bell. And going to look for some quick little pullbacks out the bell. That'd be something that I definitely can look at. Edible Garden this morning. Taking a look at this one. As this one got the pop. It's a farm products stock. It's pulling back. It actually doesn't look too bad right now to kind of hold this 15 minutes and then start to kind of pop back through that 150. 135 seems to be the support right now. If I draw this trend line, I can see that the 150 pop is available, then 175 on the high end. We'll see what happens on this one. Hourly chart on this one doesn't look the best, but it could make a move to 219. Daily chart has that move. First resistance is going to be 150. So get through that 150, the next level. We'll look to see what happens there. It's at 143, pulling back right now. Just made a little bit of a run towards this resistance, which was right around that kind of the 180. So from there, I think the $2 is available. We'll see what happens there in EDBL. Edible Gardens, what do you guys think about this one this morning? DGLY pulling back there. Did make that move to 175, 189. Now starting to pull back. This Digital Ally. We'll see what happens on that one. With the market coming back the way it is and kind of these crypto stocks lately been pulling back, Clean Spark is actually on my radar to the upside today. right? Of course, I got to keep your eyes to see what happens in Bitcoin. But right now, I don't think this is a bad stock to start looking for a recovery. So I'm looking at the hourly chart. I see an up one, down one, up two, down two, up three. Good levels. Going to look to see if it can come back to try to take out the bottom end of this. So maybe an attempt back towards 11 and then recovery in Clean Spark today. Definitely on the radar for me. I'll set the alert there. I'm going to be watching for it to come cutting back down here, but I think it could also just rip towards the 1150s. So somewhere between there, I'll be watching back above the 1150s. Definitely something on the radar. Mara could be the same play, but of course, keep in mind the shelf life that's out there, the offering. So I can keep a watch on that. Bullseye. I do not know if you can use a Discover card to pay for the challenge. Bullseye. Come on, man. I'm not in sales here. But you reach out to us, right? We do have, of course, our customer service team. You can reach out to them, Bullseye. Emails right down. It should be right down in the description. You don't see an option? Well, maybe you might want to switch the money, but I don't know, man. I don't pay with stuff with the Discovery card, so we'll see what happens on that one, man. I would just reach out to the customer service if you're having any issues. Maybe there's another way that you can kind of get the money that you need there. All right, Kit going down there to 192. So it's not all the robotic stocks taking off there. Serve now 362, man. What a move there in Serve. Future Day Trade said, yes, you can. Well, there you have it. There you have it. All right, Google. Definitely one to watch out there. We'll see what happens today. 164. Yeah, definitely relatively weak. I would be avoiding Google right now. It just not has the strength right now. But of course, that could all change here. Apple pulling back here, giving you an opportunity if you're looking for see Apple take the lead here. It actually doesn't look bad at all. So it's just kind of one of those days where do you feel like this is just going to be a breakout or will we have some kind of pullbacks to play? Well, Apple is right off the 9 EMA right now, 221.40s. Could go back through the 222s, could go right back through the 220 spot. So the risk is about $1.50 on the downside. Upside potential is about 50 cents. It's a little bit hard to go after this because I'm talking about pretty much negative risk to return. And I hate talking about that, right? Why would I risk $1 to make 50 cents? That doesn't make sense for me. So it's very hard for me to jump into trades right now, especially with the price action I see on the chart. Some people would avoid like this down wick. They would just ignore it, the 220.32s, but just mentioning that. NVIDIA at that 118, trying to hold on. Run is one that I'll take a look at, guys. This is one that I want to definitely watch. Of course, you guys saw me talk about this yesterday of how solar could get the move if we continued to see the lift in tech. What happened yesterday? A nice little move in solar. So watch to see what happens. First solar now towards 233s and really starting to get hot. I've talked about seasonality that comes into play in September with solar stocks. So Run is definitely on the radar and other solar stocks on the radar today. I'll keep a watch to see what happens in this space, but not bad to watch these names. I'll keep a watch. First Solar and Run are the first two that I kind of note. And then I start taking a look at different ones like Nova, really nice daily chart, trying to break through the resistance, has gotten up here multiple times in the $8. Could take that next step into kind of the next move here. That'd be a move to 871 or maybe the next resistance of 920. So I take a look at that. That actually looks really good there to get the run there towards 9. It's at $8 right now. Nova looking really good here in the pre-market already at the $8. We'll see what happens on this. Definitely watching some solar names today. Run is definitely in play. It's at the 950s even right now. I kind of can see it take a little bit of a lift off right before the open towards 975 and 10. We'll see if I can get any type of pullback on these, but definitely not bad stocks at all here on Run. For solar, ENPH can even get a move on a day like today when we're starting to get this upside potential. All right, guys, catching up with you guys out there. What's going on out there, traders? Welcome to it. If you're just joining the show, of course, it's Trade Cool, guys. Let's see what we can come up with today. There's my coffee, actually. Not bad. I need more coffee, guys. I need to make enough money to have like a coffee assistant that just brings me some espresso. All right, guys, let's keep going. We'll see what else is out there. Future day trade billionaire. You can lend me that assistant, right? All right, guys, let's keep going. Bullseye said, I got some credits. Hey, man, wish you the best, man. There you go. There you go, man. Hey, use those credits. See what you can do. Let me know how it goes, man. And like always, man, when you do get to that mini, I talked about it yesterday. You go about it the way that you want to go about it. But one thing I always talk about is, especially if you've struggled and you really want to make it in this business, one of the things is survival. Survival first, then break even, then you go into small profits, and then into the what I call the thriving stage. So there's really stages of trading, right? The first one is just not losing. Then you move into the break even. Then just a little green, big green. So remember that, right? Don't try to go with big green if you can't even see accounts staying in the break even stage, right? Because the truth is, and more than likely, the probability is that you're going to end up in what stage? The max loss stage, right? Not the stage you want to be in, right? So find that way, right? Find that way so that at least you can be in the break even stage and stick around in these evals. Of course, you got about 45 days to get after it. So you don't need to rush. You don't need to do this in 1 week. Take your time. That's one thing that I notice. There's very rare times where I see somebody try to do this in 3 days and it end up with success. Let's just be honest. All right, we'll see what else is out there. Another thing to do is on when you give yourself time, those 45 days, we're always going to have a day or two in the market, maybe like once or twice a month, where you really have stocks that are just going in one direction, where essentially the correlation of these stocks are causing the stocks to just go in, let's say, a lift off or a down move. Those are the days where I feel like if you're a really good trader, you can just make so much money, because on those days you can scalp to the upside multiple times and make really great trades, or you're just riding the wave up higher, right? So I think that that's what we need to be looking for also, is for that really good day to come into play, and then we can push, right? But if we try to push every single day, that's easily how we just get ripped, and then we're right back into this stage where I don't want to be, guys. And we don't want to be in this area. We want to be in this area where it's the profits, the green, and pushing towards those big wins. First Solar has been strong, maybe too extended. Yeah, so what I look for is hourly pullbacks par. It's not a bad mention that it is extended. So what I look for when a stock just starts to boom, right? I don't look for it to come all the way back down. I look for hourly pullbacks to support, to hold, and for bigger buyers, institutional buyers, and the bigger traders to buy off those levels. Don't forget that. And I'm telling you guys, I've been in institutional trading offices. I've been to the New York Stock Exchange. I've seen it. 15 minutes hourly charts is what I saw on the screen. And trust me, I was looking. I didn't see a single screen earlier than a 15 minutes. So just to mention that. All right, we'll see what else is out there. Look at Serve now, guys. Serve is up there to 1422. Man, a little part of me is like, Mitch, you should have hold on 50 shares, man. Well, I sold it, guys. I had to take the money and run. It's very hard to stay in a name like this where I just see the money just rocketing. I did take a nice little cushion, and that's what a lot of the times my pre-market trades are for. They're not for the home runs. They're for a nice cushion in the intraday to give me the confidence to just continue trading in the intraday without barely any stress, because I've already made some money on the day. All right, let's keep getting after it, traders. And you guys out there joining on X, joining on YouTube, please do me the favor. Take a second right now. Hit the retweet on this to let everybody know this is the stream where you guys want to go ahead and build on, right? We build watch lists. We take a look into the market. We talk about the action that we're seeing right now. And we'll be trading all different types of names, from the smaller ones to the bigger ones, right? Let's go back to Sockell. Sockell just trading at 36.22s and just holding on right now. So looking like it wants to get that next boom up. We'll see what happens. Apple now trying to hold that 221.50s to make that move to the 222s. Will we get the move? I'm looking for any type of pullbacks to really buy up at the open. And that's what I'm looking for. I want to see a fake out to the downside, because if it's just going to be an all-out rip, well, it'll just probably be an all-out rip all day long. So we'll see what happens there. VSCO at 2180 still looks interesting for me. We'll see what happens on that one. We all saw how Starbucks continued to go, even though some people didn't think it would continue to lift. It did pull back, but then a big lift towards the end of the close. So VSCO definitely on the radar, especially towards the close, to see if it wants to make a move. Looking around at the scanners here to see what else is showing up there. I am seeing right now 73% of tech in the green. I am seeing some healthcare red. You got about 44% of those names. Utilities are 50-50. Materials 75% into the green. So will gold actually get a push up on this? This will be an interesting conversation. Could gold see an up move on this? I don't know, man. It looks to me like the pullback to 1837 is what makes sense for gold. But I would be really interested to see what happens with gold today. Because sometimes people consider gold as a hedge. But then again, every time I've seen it, it's very rarely played out like a good hedge. All right, let's keep going. We'll see what else is out there, guys. Keep throwing up those stocks. Bullseye, get that mini and get after it. All right, guys. It seems like it's going to be one of those days where we're going to get a little bit of that shake out there. Let's see what the news or the medias are pointing towards now. I want to see it at that. Annual inflation rate slows to 2.9 in July, the lowest since 2021. Well, that's a bullish headline right there. There you guys have it. And trust me, they took a little while to get that printout. And there's a reason why. Treasury yields are slightly higher as the CPI comes in as expected. So the TLT is what they're pointing to. Let's take a look at the TLT action this morning. You can see how the TLT has pushed up, now pulled back. So will the TLT get the next lift right now? I think this is one that we could actually trade right now. So let's take a look at this. Somebody in the chat, it's Cisco. All right, we'll take a look at that. But I want to take a look at trading this right now. TLT trading at 97.40s, 36. So the risk would be like 97.25s, or maybe the pullback coming back here into the 21s. Taking a look at this action here to see if maybe I just trade off of this right here. So definitely something to look at here. I would be watching to see what happens off of this. Will we get the up move on this? You can see we've had pretty much a symmetrical triangle that's starting to play out. You could call this kind of a wedge. Also could be just a bear pennant because of the wick to the upside. So it's down action, bear pennant. Looking to see if it comes back towards this 97.50s, or will we cut down towards the 97.21s? On the first reaction, it was actually kind of that up move, then right back down. So will this actually cause treasuries to come down here? It's something definitely to look at. I think this is the trade that you got to watch here to see what happens. Do they just reload this and start making the move back to 98? Could very much start to push back there towards the 100 on the TLT. So I'll be watching this here, guys, to see if we start to get the lift here. And how will this affect the market? I think this is something definitely to keep a very close eye, especially at the open here. TLT moving all around. Will it get back up above that 97.50 and make a run to 97.75? Definitely something to watch out there. What's good, everyone? Hump Day is here. Let's get busy. Let's do it. Let's make some money here. Let's see what we can find. Looking at some other ones here out there to see what's moving. TLT, man. 97.40s here. 97.30s, 97.20s seems to be the risk right here. A little part of me feels like taking a buy on this. I know that right here, there was some volume that came in here, and that was around the 97.30s, 97.25s. So definitely as it came back to that level, you did get some volume to come in there. I would maybe look to see if it can hit there one more time. Can you pull back to that 97.25 one more time and start to work your way back up? That will give us that third, fourth resistance test, and that's what I'm looking for. We'll see what happens on TLT, guys. It's 9:06, getting towards the bell here. The SPY slowing down. It's almost to a halt now, just not moving at all. Will we see Apple decline here? It's one of these days where things are going to be moved back and forth. A part of me says Sockell is the move. Look at the 3640s now. I mean, if I would have got that first drop where we were pulling back here towards this kind of like 3750 area, looking for it to go right back up. That's not a bad move already. That's 80 cents higher. So if you're able to play that Sockell on the pullback, hey, shout out to you. Really nice trade. Daniel, what's up out there? Par, Micron strong, definitely one to watch. Micron is one that I feel like could get that lift there. Did it pull back to the 100? Yes, it did, guys. That 100 gave you that opportunity. It came back to that 100, held it right now back towards the 160. AMD, one to watch. 143.15s. Talked about that one at 142.50s. And it looks like it could just keep running. We'll see what happens. I hate going for stair step moves up because I usually get the elevator move down as soon as I get in. So I'll be watching for pullbacks out the gates. Not trying to take too much in the pre-market here. I was looking to trade it, but it's a little bit of a confusing price action. So I'll be waiting to see what happens on this. Serve 1422s. What a move in serve today, guys. Uru, another stock that was trading out there. I don't have this one tradable, but I'll keep a watch on it. TLT now trying to spike above that 97.40s here. So this is the opportunity here if I want to go ahead and buy the TLT here. So a little part of me feels like taking a shot on this, guys. So let's see what we can do. See if we can get 97.40s on any type of pullback here. So 97.40s doesn't look like a bad little pullback. I'll put 43s out there. See if we can get a pullback towards 43. All right, guys, got it out there. 97.43s. I'll put 100 out there at 97.43s. Looking to go ahead and maybe try to get a little bit on the pullback here. We'll look to see if we start to see this pop. Hard bottom could have got put in there at 97.30s. So that's where I can kind of see this start to turn around there. Let's see if we can get this entry first on a little bit of a pullback here, and then to start to see this start to push back towards the 97.75 here. Still no pullback right now. It is starting to get a little bit of volume. It wasn't big volume. It was about a sell at the 38s. Not seeing as much volume as I expect there. There is a little bit of a gap towards 97.52. Looking for some pullback action here. No pullback just yet. I just canceled my order here. I'm just looking to see what happens at this 97.50 spot. Yeah, it just got light a little bit there, and now starting to get heavier on that 50s. It looks like they're trying to take that 97.50s, get this back there towards 98s today. This is going to be something to watch for sure, the TLT. What will happen there, guys? A lot to take a look at. All right, guys, all signed up for the mini bullseye. Get ready, man. And like always, day one, just try to make sure that you're doing things right on the platform. Serve your robot concept, Mitch. Looking like a move. Yes. Wisdom. If the market is not going to have this wicked downside move today, the pressure comes off of the growth names, and the growth names actually have ability to get the nice little boost today. So like one that you can watch, right, that has been doing the same move, like trying to get the boost, and it's a growth name. Unity, another one to watch, right? Palantir, perfect on a day like today if we're really going to get this upside move. And look where Palantir is, man. This thing, when it dropped to 2180s, was such a gift. Should have been able to buy that back, as I bought at 24s, at 23s. Remember, rode this up to 28. It's back at 30. This is one of the best AI plays, I think, right now. Still even to this day. So, hey, Palantir at 30. One to watch. Micron. We'll see what happens on that one. Will it get the next push? I think it all depends on the way that the market trades. If the market trades up, there's no reason I think that Micron ends red. All right, we'll see what happens. Dump at the open. Very much could happen. A little bit of a drop and then a buy, right? Yeah, congrats. Congrats, Bullseye. Congrats on getting the mini. Wish you the best. And like always, right? One of the things is, of course, is that, hey, take it easy. Don't try to lose that $900 or risk that $900 today. This is the one thing I feel like a lot of traders jump into the mini and they're like, oh, I have $900 of risk, so that means I can risk $600 today. No. Do you see me risking $600 today? No. And I got the bigger packages, right? So I think that that's one thing that I will just say, hey, to each his own. If you want to take that kind of shot, go for it, man. I won't be mad at you. The only thing I can tell you is what I would be doing personally. I'd be trying to break that up, right? So I'd think that, hey, well, I could have 1 red day, 2 red days, 3 red days, 4 red days, 5 red days, 6 red days. Okay, so let's go ahead and think about that. If it's 45 days, all right, so I'm going to last a pretty good amount of time. I need to make it to where, let's say, I need to have like 10 red days for me to really kind of get cut out. So if I would actually slow it down and look to maybe risk like, let's say, $90 or maybe even lower than that to give myself a little bit of cushion for slippage. So risking $80 or $70 a day wouldn't be a bad approach for me. Now, what you make on the upside, it has to be more about how you trade, right? Is it a 2-to-1, 1-to-1 look? Maybe I'm just trying to make $80 a day, risk $80 a day. If I get close to that $80, I take the money and I run. It's not a bad approach, right? I'm not telling you how to run your system. I'm just trying to talk you through how I would approach it here. Like always, wish you the best, bulls. All right, guys, let's keep going. We'll see what else we got out there. 300 and you're out for the day. Hey, it's not a bad one, right? Not a bad one, right? I mean, I have 223 right now. I wouldn't be mad with getting a $300 day. Of course, had a nice little $600 day on Monday. Like a 250 loss yesterday, bouncing back today already with the 223 in the green. Let's see if I can make another little, like, say 400 on the day or 300. I don't even need to make that much. That's 75 more, like $100 more. So I can do what? I can size down and try to play multiple times, try to see if I can just get one nice risk to return in my favor and then call it a day. Not a bad way to approach it. All right, guys, let's get that money, guys. See what you guys can do. Let's go. All right. What else is trading out there? And the Q's kind of going sideways here. So TLT right back to that 97.40. So if I wanted to, I could take it, right? The trade's there, right? It's off the 97.40s here, but I'm going to wait for the bell. The bell's going to be important here, guys. It's 9:13. We're almost to the bell action. Of course, if you guys didn't catch the morning's kind of sunrise report, there's a lot to talk about there, but we can kind of run through it again here. It was all on Mars announcing a $36 deal. So $36,000 deal there for Mars buying out Kellanova. So K is a ticker, right? You guys can see how this is up there towards the 80s. We'll see how this trades towards the open. It was an all cash deal for about $83.50 per share. And then Intel divesting 1.8 million shares in ARM is interesting because ARM could actually get a lift off of that. It's like Intel's out the way. All right, now I really want ARM. We'll see what happens on that. And of course, Victoria's Secret surging about 20% or higher because of the announcement of a new CEO, Hillary Super. And no, she is not a super CEO. Her last name is Super. I thought that was funny. I actually was catching my man, Beginner Trading. If you guys don't know Beginner Trading, definitely check him out. I need to bring him on to the show here, but love that channel. I actually started on that channel way back when, but was hanging out with him and he was like, is it a super CEO? What's going on here? No, the last name is Super. That's pretty funny, actually, but we'll see what happens out there. Victoria's Secret. Not such a secret anymore as it's getting the nice little pop there. VSCO. This is actually one that I'll be looking at out the open because it looks like it wants to just run there towards the 24s. It's already getting the lift above the 22s and pulled back off that 22. So I'll see what happens out the gates on this one. It's not a bad watch here. Starbucks went higher yesterday with the same kind of mention. It's crazy to me that you can get a 20% lift for just hiring a CEO. I don't think that should happen unless the CEO is Elon Musk. Jeff Bezos or something like that, then I'd be like, all right. But hey, to each his own. I guess that can give anybody a 20% lift. Imagine if you were short Victoria's Secret and then you're back in it today and you're like, man, I just lost 20, 30% because they hired a CEO. That's tough. All right, guys, you like Victoria's Secret like you love oil? Hey, well, then run away, my friend. All right, we'll see what else is out there, guys. Let's get that money today towards the bell. About 77 of you guys joining in. Let's go. SPY's now starting to slow down a little bit here, guys. So keep your eyes on that. It is sideways here on the 15-minute from the CPI report. How's it sideways, guys? But yet we rocketed off yesterday on that PPI number. Just blows my mind sometimes, guys. This is what happens when you try to put logic in the market. Logical on this report is just way higher. But that's not the truth. That's not what we're seeing, right? And so logic meeting what the price action's telling us is that the price action's telling us that maybe this was already in the market. This was already kind of weighed in here where people expected this. So it was already priced in. We'll see. I mean, it's going to be interesting. And then tomorrow, of course, we get that retail data that come in, and that could turn everything. It could have been positive, and really negative towards the end of the week. We really don't know. This is why I'm not opening insane amount of swing trades either, right? I do got a swing trade on right now. I still got the XLU. We'll take a little peek into that, see how that's working right now. And I'll continue to watch to see what other ones I can get into today. Did take a major hit there yesterday on, of course, that was going to be on SARK. So I will let you guys know. Yeah, definitely. I lost a good amount there on SARK yesterday. So we'll see if we're able to bounce back. XLU up about, not bad. I mean, I'm up a little bit over $1, a little under $1. We'll see what happens on XLU if it can continue to run. Doesn't look too bad. I'm just going to look for this to continue just to work higher. Now make a move to 76. And then, yeah, towards 76, I'll take the profits and run. This is one that I just want to continue to let it work and keep looking at other trades to make a move. Are you long on the SQQ or short? I don't know, man. We'll see what else is out there. I was planning to risk maybe $20 to $50 per trade. Not a bad one, bullseye. And that's one thing to think about, right? So if you're risking $20 to $50 per trade, right? If you lose twice, that's $100 already. So think about that, right? How many times do you trade in the day also? Think about that, right? You need to know these kind of things to get the best risk to return outlook. And even if it, for some reason, is just that $20 risk, and that's all you're risking, and you're just smaller size and just making like base hits, I'll tell you what, man, you're going to feel a lot more confident in your ability if you could see statistics to back up your trading than it is to take big swings and just blow a count. I can tell you that right now. That makes you feel a lot better when you look back at your statistics and you're like, man, this is actually pretty good, right? Pretty good statistics that I got on the account. What's up out there? Are you long on the SQQ or short on the swing account? I actually cut out the SQQQ yesterday on the swing account. Just wasn't a trade that I wanted to be long into the CPI report. The big bet to me yesterday was on SARK, but SARK just kept going down. So I'll look to see if this reverses today, but that broke down yesterday and it really caught me back towards like $34 here. It cut that 34 and really I took a nice hit yesterday. We'll see what happens on SARK if it's able to bounce back today. Serve top play this morning, got all the way up there towards 1430s, now starting to pull back. We'll see if this one is in play today. REBN, Reborn Coffee. I need some Reborn Coffee. I need to be reborn through that coffee. I've heard of Reborn Coffee. I haven't had it myself, but I don't know, man. I want some coffee. I'll tell you that much. All right, guys, it's 9:20. We still got about 10 minutes towards the bell here, guys. So, hey, guys, stick around. We'll be taking a look to see what happens out there. I'm going to go ahead and put up some scanners here, give you guys a little bit more of a pre-market outlook here. So here you guys have a nice bit of the gapper scan. So if you guys can see that, take a look to see what stocks you guys see moving out there. right now, I'm just going to pull this down. I'll put up the multi-chart, or actually, yeah, I can just put this up a little bit here. Pull this up a little bit, put the SPY right here in the corner. We can take a look at some different stocks out there. SPY is trying to make a little bit of a move. I'll keep this on the 1 minute. Will we start to see the decline come in, guys? Hey, take a look at that action. We'll see what happens. I'm going to go get a little bit of a coffee refill. I need to be reborn again. Get ready for the open because I'm ready to trade, baby. Ready to get after it. You guys smash the like. Let me know. Are you bullish on the market today? Bearish on the market? Put a 1 if you're bullish. Put a 2 if you're bearish. All right, traders, I'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. Stay right here. We got a lot to take a look at towards the open. What's going on, traders? How we doing out there? Who's ready to see if the market just does a little bit of a shake here? The market's starting to go down. We got to keep our eyes to see what happens here. But the market's coming down now? I mean, that's how the market goes, guys. I think we got to do a little bit of some contrarian view right now, right? Because a little part of me is like, man, this market should be up on this report, right? Not down on the report. So that's one thing to think about. And another thing to think about is, what is going on here? Is this just a fake out on the downside? TLT starting to rip on this here now, starting to go higher on this pullback. So I'm going to take a scalp on this TLT here. So let's do a little scalp action here. I'm going to do, what's the bottoming on the support right now? 45. So yeah, I like this here. 500. Let me try to get 552 on a pullback, maybe 550s, 9750s. Doesn't like, I don't mind it. I'm trying to do a little scalp action here. Ooh, don't even have that much, even on the swing account. Let's go to the day trade account. Open's coming right now, guys. So I'm going to wait for the open, right? We got about like a couple seconds here, guys. Let's be smart here out the open. We got a nice $223 cushion here. Starbucks leading the action out there, now starting to pull back there. VSCO, another one that I'll be watching to see what happens here. But the SPY pulling back here right before the bell. What's going to happen at the bell? I'll tell you one thing. I think we're all eager to find out here. All right, let's keep getting after it, team. What do you guys got out there, traders? What are you watching? Let's get after it, guys. All right, let's keep going. Let's see what else is out there. All right, let's see what we got here. Coffee is ready, guys. Coffee's ready. Let's go. Right out the gate, seeing some downside action coming in here in the market on the first move. Will we just get a quick little rip to the upside? Taking a look at names also like AMD, right? AMD is definitely going to be on my radar today. We'll see what happens out there. If we get the up move, I'll definitely be watching that. Sockell is just bottoming right now. SPY trying to make an up move back through the 543s. Right now, I'm trying not to react on the SPY overall at all. Sockell, a nice little first move to 3650s. Buying that pre-market dip right there. Great trade if you guys did that. I didn't take it, but if you guys nailed that Sockell right there, hey, shout out to you, man. That's trading. That's how you do it. So big thumbs up and hit the likes. Let's go. All right, Serve showing up on course on the scanners there. It's up there towards 1430s. We'll see if this keeps running today. Definitely in play. I've already made my money in Serve. I don't want to give it back in Serve, so I'm going to leave the Serve alone. Mercy showing up there as another one that's getting a big rip here. This is a $40 stock, so it's actually in play here. Keep your eyes on this one. And this is a defensive stock. Aerospace and defensive stock getting a big rip here. Very interesting. I'd be looking for quick pullbacks on this, maybe towards the $40 spot. But what is going on here in the defensive names here? That's an interesting one. We'll see if Lockheed Martin gets that move. Flutter Entertainment, the stock we talked about this morning in the Sunrise report, getting a big lift off this gambling push. Let's see what happens if DKNG gets a lift off of this. So a little bit of some sympathy play. This was already moving in the pre-market, got a nice little rocket move towards the 33s. A daily chart is a recovery towards the 33s and maybe a gap fill back to 35.40s. SPY overall trying to make this up move. Now trying to start to push through that 543. TLT right there off the 9750s, guys. This is just stair-stepping higher. So I want to take a shot in this as a kind of a little bit of a scalp trade. And it's not a bad one. Remember earlier, I was looking at the 9740s. So we already kind of did that 9760 move. Let's see what happens in the TLT today. Definitely something to watch there in the TLT as it's going to be moving all around. Seeing Very in the chat there and different mentions out there on Very getting a little bit of a push here. We'll look to see if this goes to the 325s. Doesn't look too bad off the $3 spot. I like this penny stock or smaller name because it's just at least has a daily chart that supports it versus just only an intraday chart. TLT getting there to the 9762s now. So if I would have just jumped on the 58s, wouldn't have been that bad. Taking a look into the sectors, right? Before I take the trade here, 70% of technology into the green there. Going to keep an eye on that. 70% of retail in the green. So 71% of energy in the green. Those are the three areas I'm looking at for green trades, right? In financials, also 80% into the green. So there you guys have where the strength is. Where's the weakness? Weakness right now is in utilities. 100% of them into the red. That scares me a little bit, right? So I'll be watching to see what happens in the XLU as it's pulling back on that. And why would it be coming down off of this? That's interesting there. Let's go back to it as we are getting a really quick down move in the utilities here. Got to think about if I'm just going to take the money and run. I do have a stop set there, so can just let it work there. I got it at 73.32s, which is the break even. So if it does come back and gets me break even today, I could just wait for that. I'm going to wait for that because I feel like this could still move. It's just getting that first pullback action. All right, retail names that are doing well. That's what I want to be paying attention to now. I want to be taking a look to see what's doing well there, what's doing bad there. TJX to the downside, KMX to the upside, and that's all based on the CPI report. I talked about how used cars were actually seeing a big decline in the inflation action there. I'm wondering how that affects Carvana. Down action in Carvana right now. We'll look to see if this fades off that 145.70. It's actually getting hit on this. That's interesting. First move was up. It's faking out to the downside now. SPY now down to the downside and now actually starting to cut down. What an interesting move here. Definitely a shake in the market here as it starts to pull back. Look at AMD just dumping. Did NVIDIA just dump? Wow, what a move there, guys. What a move. Now we're starting to see SOXS start to push here. Is this just a fake out and now we're going to get that real takedown? I mean, man, what a move if that's going to happen, because really the CPI report was a good report. Well, they're not telling you that it's a good report based on the price action, and that's all we need to see. Look at the downside action there in NVIDIA right out the gates there. How's Tesla getting hit there? Boom, went to the 210s this morning, back down to 205s. There's nothing to do with the interest rates. Just getting hit there, guys. We'll see what happens out there. Not a bad one. But let's keep going, guys. What else you guys got out there? What are you taking a look at? DGLY, $15 green, bullseye, your first trade. Hey, get after it, my friend. Make that money. Make that money, my friend. That one was, of course, a smaller one that was moving earlier. DGLY up there to the 170s. Look to see if this one starts to pull back. What else am I seeing? CRMD. Biotech trying to break through that 475. We'll just get there towards 5 today. Daily chart here has resistance right around that 5. So I could see it getting towards 5. 478s right now. Can we get a little bit of a micro pullback to maybe play this? Micro pullback gives me the level towards 460s. We'll see what happens here. If it does make that 460 pullback and then a push through towards 5. SPY now coming back, and I feel like this is what it's going to do, man. It's going to shake a lot of people right out the starts here. BitF showing me up there, so clean spark, definitely something that I want to watch there. We did the fake out to 1150s. Now I want to look for the fake out on the downside of things. That's a breakdown through 11s and then coming right back up. So can it come to 11, then start working its way higher? Look at the 15 minutes, 3 resistance tests towards that 1142, failing the 1150 break right now. We're looking for an undercut low, so move towards like 1106, 1103s, and then coming right back through 1125s. We'll see what happens on this. If it doesn't do that move back to the upside, well, it could break down here. So the chart is still in a bearish pattern, but I'm looking for a reversal in clean spark today and some of these miners, right? Let's keep getting after it. Clorox flagged. Clorox is on the daily. I've talked about this before. I like this move into recession talks. This is going to move especially tomorrow. Wisdom, when we get that retail number, Clorox will definitely be the focus because of recession concerns. So we'll see what happens on that, how it trades today. PG is something to look at there. It's been on a little bit of a pullback, but it could be that some buyers are trying to step in here off the weekly trend line. We'll see what happens there in Procter & Gamble. Going to the SPY just playing with people, going down, coming right back up. So I think at this point, we got to be careful out there, guys. It's just going to be moving all around right now. And it's pretty much in creating a range trade. I've talked about this, and I've talked about this countless times on my Twitter also, that it seems to me like the range trade is the trade right now. So take a look out there. We'll see what happens, guys. Let's keep it going. You guys know where you're at. It's Trade the Pool. Let's see what we can come up with. There's the SPY trying to catch a little bit of a bounce there. So Sockell back down to 35.50s is something that I could actually play to the upside today. So that's just something that I'm looking at here to see if this wants to bounce right back up and get back up there, guys. So I'm looking at it right now to see if maybe I just play Sockell back to the upside and this is just a fake out to the downside here. It's not a bad approach here to maybe take the 35.60s off the 35.25s. It's had a multiple bottom approach here. 15 minutes has still a pullback that it can come back to. I'm looking more at this 35.36 starts to play a little bit there and then starts to work higher. But what a resistance at the 36.50s today. Looking like it's dropping a little bit further there, trying to test that 35.21. I'll look for a dip down below that. So you got in one dip, two dips, three dips. I usually look for that one more dip and then reversal back to the upside here. Let's see if we get that type of move. AMD is also doing that very similar move. So trying to dip, get some dip buys and then see this if it comes back. AMD is one that I'll definitely watch if I start to see the SPY make a quick move to the upside. Qs right now trying to catch that bounce at the 463s. So if you're looking at that, maybe the TQQQ makes sense for you off that 463.75. Look to see if that goes back through the 64.25. It's not a bad one there on the TQQQ. We'll see what happens here. I think there's a lot of shake out there. Vary to 320s, so not a bad one there on that play. LPLA is another one that I see making a move there. It's expensive stock that's pushing strong there. Not something that you see often. Clover Health showing up on the scanners today. Definitely don't see that one move often. Here's that kind of bottoming attempt. So 1, 2, 3. So let's see if we get that fourth attempt to break the 35.38s and then quick reversal off that. So I'm looking for this to go actually red and then green here, but might take the shot if I start to see this turn back here. So keeping an eye on the Sockell right now. Let's go to the 5 minutes, see if I can get kind of maybe a double bottom approach where it comes to 28s and comes right back. But definitely, it's a little weak out the gates here. That's interesting to see that. All right, what are you guys thinking about out there in the market? How we doing? Bets looking good. Not a bad one. I mean, Bets is definitely a little bit liquidity issues, but it's a good play because of Flutter Entertainment. It's one of the top holdings, right? Edible, not a bad one. Bullseye. How'd that Edible do there? EDBL. There you go. It's recovering that 150. And I talked about how this chart looked interesting. I actually like the recovery there, but it really needs to get some volume at the 150 to show me that some buyers want it. You can see it there. They had the volume on this first push. Let's see if you get another buy at that 150 and it really starts to hold there. Sockell doing that undercut here. Let's see if it recovers here. So 35.36 is what I'm looking to see if it recovers right now. If not, it could take another level down. There's that attempt towards that next level, which is the 35.20s. And it doesn't look like it's recovering right now. Let's see if it breaks 35. If it breaks 35 here, you're going to really start to see some leak in the market. And the Qs should break the lows. There's the lows right there, 162.50 with 462.30s being the low on the day. Now we're just approaching it. There we just tapped it. Will we break through the low today? Let's find out here, guys. Or will we get a 945 reversal right back to the upside? VSCO, guys, I talked about how that one looked good for a move to 23s, and there it is, guys. So maybe should have just focused on this. Undercutting 22s was a really good outlook to the 75s or the 80s. It hit 2180s perfectly, back up there to 23s. Could even go higher here. The high in the pre-market was around towards 23.28, so I could still see it going another 30 cents. Really nice move here in Victoria's Secret, and one that you could have just gone after just because of how Starbucks moved on the CEO mention. What a crazy move there. Victoria's Secret. Nice little move to 23s. Maybe should have been able to play that one. Was focusing on the overall market here, but man, what a move now. Down in the SPY, down to 541 as we start to get that down move. What a takedown here. And technology now red here, and a lot of red action from the open. What's up? What's up is real estate and defensive names. Wow, wouldn't you expect that off of that type of report? So Clorox, not actually a bad play on the day, man. Get after it. Take that money, man. KVU is one that I'll look at, guys. This has pulled back. Already kind of getting a little bit of a bounce there. It was pulled back there at the 930s. did get a nice little jump to start the day here. I'm going to keep a watch on this one. I think it could continue lifting through the 2150s. And on the daily chart, really nice chart to go towards maybe 22 today. So not a bad one to take a look at it here at the 2130s, holding the 2128s. That's up 1, down 1, up 2, down 2, up 3. I'd look for one more down action. Let's say maybe going to the 2125s and then recovering on KVU. Sockell, man, down to 3450s now. So definitely just chapow. Micron could cut down through this 900 spot, going towards the 99. Doesn't look too bad there. Qualcomm, another one for the downside action. And look at the downside action come in NVIDIA from 119 down to 115. And the CPI report was good. This is how they do it to you guys. That's the interesting part. And Mitch, with the Twins, you're going to need some more Clorox. That's for sure, man. The wipes are being used, man. So boo-roo with the lift there, guys. Boo-roo with the lift. We'll see what happens on that one. Serve now coming back down to the 13s. This could just be a fade after pre-market rip. We'll see what happens. What a move today, man. This is just how the market goes. Now Sockell just completely ripping, guys, to the upside. So SARK that I wanted to trade yesterday, that I was going after, now it's already recovered that 34 spot. So I'm looking for slight dips below 34 to maybe come after that one. But it's just a straight move up right now. ARKK, where's the weakness? What can I short out there? Well, TXG is one that's in the green. I'm looking here to see what's red here. Coin getting smacked down to 194. So Coin and these crypto names really getting smacked there. That's definitely one thing that I see on that. So I'm looking through these to just kind of run through the reports. DNA getting hit there. Twist, Archer. So I'm seeing a lot of the kind of the growth names taking the beating. Tesla down to 203 from 210. What a smackdown there. Looking for some of these names to get a little bit of a bounce. TXG is definitely one that I could look at for maybe a short through this 21 spot. Doesn't look too bad already. Definitely taking a hit down here. And it just rejected that 2150s. So I actually kind of like this to cut down through that 21. This is TXG, guys. I might go after a short on this one. I've actually put this one on the playbook a little while ago for a short. So that's another reason why I like this on the short. Would look for a little bounce here going to 2140s, but could do a starter here at the 2122s. Looking for it to cut down through this low 2115s. Could really see 21s being available right now. I would just love to see a little bounce here. Give me a little bounce towards 2140s, 2150s. I'll get short TXG. Creating an alert there to let me know if it gets a little bit of a bounce. If it just floods down, well, just let it keep going. I always look for a little bounce to get after it. Mercy and this cybersecurity company back to 40. I talked about how 40 seemed like the spot to try to get to that dip buy. This is not a bad one to keep a watch on. All right, a lot of action going on out there, guys. Definitely seeing that decline in the market. Q's bouncing a little bit there. Not a big bounce, though. So we'll see what happens on this one. Look at MRCY. What a move there, guys. It's not a name I know, but hey, it's definitely moving. We'll see what happens on that. Very 320s kind of rejecting there. Serve trying to recover. Can't recover right now. We'll see if it breaks the 13s. Teva getting a little bit of a lift there. This is one that I'll take a look at, guys. Teva. This is a nice little pattern here. So I'm just sticking to the pattern here. All right, order out there to try to get some fill right now at the 57s. Let's see if I can get that fill there. Trying to get the fill here on Teva. All right, guys, long on Teva there, guys. It just got 100 shares at 17.59. Looking for this to come back here. 17.89 on the high end. Got up there almost to the 18 break, so I could see this getting to that 18. I'm just looking at this one on the pullback. This is a quick play here, so I got to be smart, right? Could pull back to the 17.50s, even the 17.40s on the pullback. So I'm starting with the starter 100 shares. Would like to get another add if it can go back to the VWAP. That's 1760s. Not bad here on the first action. I just want to see it test now one more time the VWAP and then really start to get going. But if I just get the 100 shares, I'll take it, guys. Let's see what happens on this one. Teva long. I just like the chart. It just looked good. All right, we'll see what else is out there. Sockell. How's Sockell doing? Sockell around the 35, 34, 90 spot. Definitely seeing that downside action there. Sockell on the pullback of 26. Is this the pullback to buy? Are we going to see continued downside action in the Qs, or will they just recover today? That's your bet right now. You got an opportunity. Is it a fade on the 35? Is it a long off the 26 here for Sockell? We'll see what happens. I'm not taking one of those. I'm just in this Teva trade. I want to focus on this Teva trade. It's a nice little pattern here. And really, I want to let the market kind of work things out right now. So let's see what happens on Teva if we go right back to the upside here. I think we'll get another attempt back here towards his 1756, and that's why I'm not adding right now. There's 1773. So if it just takes off through the 18, I'll let it take off, man. I'll take another 40 bucks, 60 bucks there and just take a little small trade. It was only a risk about probably about 15, 20 bucks there. So what I'm glad about this one is that I didn't hesitate when the moment came. The moment was there and it presented itself and I just smacked it. AMD bottoming a little bit there, but still not seeing the SPY start to hold. And that's really interesting to see that. If I look around, remember I talked about how technology was big green, now only 48% green, 52% in the red. What's green? I see still financials holding really well, 80% there. XLP doing well also. Of course, Kellogg's is definitely helping that. HRL, Hormel Foods, one that I kind of keep a watch on. HML, I know. HRL. I know this one had an upgrade just recently and now starting to get a big spike here. So one to put on the radar. Packaged foods, definitely. Look at this one. Daily chart. Looks really nice. As it starts to approach that break there, I could start to risk off this 31, looking for a push to 33s and maybe even coming back to 34s. So really nice looking chart here. I would love to see a pullback to 32s today. This one looks like a swing trade opportunity for me. So I'm going to actually open this up here. I don't mind this trade at all. Let me see if I can go ahead and get a little bit of a starter there on HRL. All right, guys, just put out an order there to get filled on 3240's pullback. We'll see what happens on HRL. Q's trying to make that down cut here again here. We'll see if we get another down cut. 26 holding well on that Sox S right there. It just kind of got the little lift there. Now we'll see what happens if it takes the next push. TLT, one to watch, guys. That's just slowly climbing all day. We would have taken that trade in the pre-market 97.40s. It's been a nice little 30-cent ride up. So TLT is just continuing to slowly stair step higher. Something definitely to kind of catch. NVIDIA just fading off and didn't even fade off the VWAP. That just shows you the weakness that's in the market right now. Be careful out there, traders. We'll see what happens. Teva just kind of going sideways here, looking to see if we get another move here. And of course, this is in the healthcare sector. It's a specialty and generic one. So I'm just looking to see if we get a little bit of a lift there. The daily chart had a nice little chart that it was trying to approach and break out towards the 18. This is a big chance. If it doesn't break out through the 18 here, it probably just is going to start to fail. So it's a nice look here. Let's see what happens. SPY trying to break down that down move here. We'll look to see if it can keep moving, but Q's just broke there. Will we get another down attempt here? The Sox S was a 26 pullback. It's back towards 26.50s. You got your opportunity there. Hope somebody was able to take that trade. Talked about it. I talked about how I was stuck in Teva there, but really nice trade there in Sox S on the pullback of that 26 back to 26.50s. Nice little 50 cents there. Hope somebody was able to nail that. Let's go. Buru is the only stock in the last, let's say, 2 weeks, man, that I found that is not available. I'll tell you what, just leave it alone, man. Just forget about it. Look for another one, man. There's so many other plays. Doesn't have to be Baru. We'll see what happens on this Mercy. Not a bad little cup and handle pattern here for the 42. I'd like the 41 undercut back towards 42, but of course the risk is 40, so it's a 1-to-1 type of trade. It depends on how you like to trade, so take a look at that one. Teva pulling back here. I'm going to get an opportunity here probably for the ad. I'll be looking for this one. All right, let's keep it going. Let's see what we can get on this Teva trade. Trying to stay towards kind of bigger time frames, right? So the pullback is this 1750, still kind of going sideways here. So you get an up 1, down 1, up 2, down 2, up 3. So looking to see what happens off of that 775, looking to take 18 later today in Teva. SPY starting to work its way backwards. Now it's starting to climb back. So now's my attempt if I want to go after Sockell, right? To see if maybe it's just a fake out to the downside. And then we actually start to reverse back to the upside. I don't know, man. I've been trading both ways on this. I was trading down, down, down. And now, of course, today is the day where you get the real down move, right? That's just how it goes as traders. I've been on it. Today, I don't get after it. And there it is. There's that success move. There's the down action. And why? Because the CPI report was a good report, but yet we're seeing destruction around. Is this the yen trade? No, this is not the yen trade, man. And I think that's the interesting part. All the crap that you hear from the media about the yen trade, man, this had nothing to do with no carry trade, man. This has a lot to do with what AI and that situation, interest rate outlook, and definitely just stuffing the traders right now is what happened on the CPI report. It's crazy, man, because the CPI report was a good one, but we'll see what happens. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and bring on my friend here. Of course, you guys know him. Let's go ahead. Let's bring on Tim, see what he sees in the market. And, of course, we'll take a look at some of his action. Smash the like, guys. Let's go ahead. Let's bring him on. How we doing, Tim?
Hey, I'm great. Can you hear me today? That's the big question.
Dun, dun, dun. And, yes, I can, as you
wonderful.
can see.
You had me.
The sound effect, the sound effects, man. All right. We'll see what happens today, man. What a shake in the market. The CPI was a good one, right? I don't know. Did you read the report?
Yeah, I glanced at it, and it looks like it came, I mean, it was kind of funny because it came in a little bit dovish for everything except shelter, which is, I think it was up quite a bit. I didn't see exactly a detail.
Yes, shelter actually causing 90% of the inflation. That's what the report said. So it caused 90% of what inflation was on the report.
Yep. And yeah, talking of trades we've been trying and stuff like that, I've been getting beaten up on shorts all this week. So we'll see now. I'm still holding a couple puts. I'm going to try again for some entries here. But I was usually we'll get a little dip and a buy up, but
it's just how they do it, man. Just how they do it. You get a good report and now they take it down. That's how it is sometimes, guys. And this just goes to show me, man. Does someone know the retail numbers tomorrow? Because that's what that's telling me a little bit. Because, of course, if the retail numbers come in really bad, what comes into focus tomorrow? It's not inflation. Inflation's already been kicked out the door, guys. It's like they already assumed that it's going to 2%. It's now the big R word, the big R. Recession, recession, recession. And I promise, tomorrow, you're going to hear about it nonstop from the media. They're waiting. They got the articles printed already, man. I'm telling you, look out for it, man.
They got two headlines written, one for positive, one for negative,
and they all talk about recession, though. I'll tell you that.
Yep.
Because the truth is that's the focus now, right? And that's where a lot of the eyes are going to go. So I would focus on that, guys. I think it's very important to take a look into that. And man, I've been trying to short NVIDIA multiple times, and then today it's just getting whacked. Tesla whacked, right? I mean, that's how they do it to you. Now the only question is, do we get a bounce and a continuation? I think we could also get bounce and then chop, and that's going to be even harder to play on this, right? So It's going to be very hard to try to come after it now.
Yep. And yeah, I was watching, I was trying to get a read on things. So I did keep rolling the puts that I mentioned, and obviously looking for entries. It's just been a solid trend up, but I did notice crypto, for example, just really looked like it was kind of stalling out there yesterday and overnight. And then I'm noticing too, like the sectors here. Look at the Dow Jones Industrial versus all these other indices. So I mean, it's starting to show a little weakness now, but that's been pushing up where everything else is down. So trying to see where I'm wondering if that's financials or financials, factories, or I'm trying to think of another F word for that. But yeah, other than that, Walmart pushing again too, right? So that could be that recession. Walmart and Dollar Tree pushing up, Target pushing down. So, and then I was looking at a couple biotech or biopharma names in the news this morning. We had some good trial results. I don't know if you called these out before, but VRCA, they have some positive results for basal cell carcinoma. Let's see, what's the other one? Viracta Therapeutics, positive results for lymphoma. Immutep, successful dosing of the first patient in a trial. That's for autoimmune diseases. So that one's earlier stage. There's probably more uncertainty in that, but we'll see now. I looked at those charts. They looked good earlier, but now that we're getting that pullback, I wonder if it's as positive as it initially looked.
Q's down, SPY making a new low there, and so did the Q's there. So just keeping a lookout there to see if we're going to get some kind of bounce. And this is just how they do it to you, man. The number was good. And if you went off the number and you just bought off the number, you're definitely looking bad now. So I think that's the hard part. And remember, we got a wick on the SPY there that went to like 541. So let's see what happens at that 541 in the SPY. I'm taking a look at that, guys. I did add to my Teva trade. I'm long 200 shares, 1758. All right, let's see what else is out there. Volume, please. What do you mean, volume, please? Volume up, volume down? Let me know which one. Right, volume, please. Doesn't really tell me much, man. Mass volume. All right, taking a look out there, guys. Trying to focus on this Teva trade because it's the kind of the pattern that I went after here, but definitely focusing on that. I did get another ad there, looking to see if I get one more ad, but that could be a pullback back towards like the 40 area. So I'm just going to stay with like kind of the 200 shares that I have right now. We'll keep watching it here to see if it starts to make its way back up above the VWAP. Now I'm getting that third attempt down below VWAP. This is a nice little pattern for me. We'll see what happens on that one. And then I'll kick it back to you, Tim, to see what you're looking at. But this is Teva there. 1, 2, 3 kind of bottoming attempts, looking for that to kind of hold here on that third attempt, then start working its way back through the VWAP for an 18 run. We'll see what happens in Teva. I don't know if they got news or something like that. Maybe Tim knows because I know he keeps up with this sector and industry, but hey, there's so many news out there, I'm sure.
There's always something, and somebody always knows. You know that I was noticing earlier the leading up into these 2 data releases we've had so far this week. Obviously, the geopolitical tensions. We are going to be watching we're watching, among other things, this Yale lecture series, Econ 252, on the Discord. So tonight they're talking about the efficient markets hypothesis, right? So there's that question: Does the market as a whole, does it know what's going on? Like
that whole conversation, man. That thing doesn't exist, man. EMF does.
You don't buy into the efficient market, the wisdom of crowds?
Dude, come on, bro. Come on. Like that is the biggest fluff I've ever heard in my life, man. Come on. Oh, man. I read that in my books all the time. I could go show you guys probably 10 books that's it. 10 financial books that's it. And I'll tell you right now, I would burn all of those chapters. Just burn them out the book,
spicy,
man.
With the book burning on a Wednesday morning. There's Mitch.
Dude, because the truth is, man, is that there's no way, man. That would mean that the market is logical, Tim. To me, that would mean that the market works logically. And it doesn't work like that, right?
Rationally, not logically. But
yeah, rationally, you could use that word. Let's use that word, right? They would mean that it's rational, right? It doesn't work like that, man, because like sometimes you'll get really positive news. It's positive, and the stock goes down, right? Let's just be honest, right? That's just what happens. Some people will say buy the rumor, sell the news kind of action, right? And the truth is,
I was just going to, yeah, you're on a good roll with the rant there. I was gonna ask you about that though, right? Like, it's not necessarily like those people in the know, right? That could be like, why is it running up to the release, right? And now we finally get the sell off, right? Like,
yeah,
maybe this is what they were waiting to sell, right? Like,
it's a hard outlook
right?
there.
So do you buy into price discovery as a mechanism at all? Do you think that there is a actual fair price for things, or do you think it's just
no? The truth is, it's just what investors are willing to pay. It's just what investors are willing to pay, and that changes dynamically. Like it can be different what it is today than what it is tomorrow, and it could also be different into what happens in the overall market. Let's say economic factors start to play into that, and now it's just not viewed the same, right? A lot of times we get these quick swings from growth stocks to value stocks, and I think that plays into things, right? Because when growth stocks are viewed as like the play, you can have PEs go like through the roof, right? Fundamentals go out the window really quickly when growth stocks are the focus, right? No one's mentioning that a stock has 60 PE and was trading at 30 PE just 2 weeks ago if the stock's moving up and continuing to just break highs, right? I mean, that's what I see a lot out there. And I think at the end of the day, man, it just goes to show you that there's no book on the market. It's just it's a flowing nature of things, right? There's a flow to the market. And I think that that's more important. Can you stay within the flow of the market?
100% agreement there.
Yeah, I know you've seen it, Tim. You've probably been like me and tried to read all the books out there, right? To see if there was some really like what I call true knowledge. True knowledge is something that just sticks, right? Versus just happens once. If it just happens once, that's not true knowledge for me. I need something that is repeatable. Then I'm like, okay, that's what I call true knowledge. That's something that can be repeated, it can be tested, and it could also happen in real time, right? And that's why I also look at that for strategies when people bring up strategies, right? There's one thing mentioning it. There's a whole nother thing is if you can actually execute it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Tim, can you increase your sound? I will try to handle that, but I think it might take away his mic there. Let me see what I can do.
No.
Oh, you control it. You control it.
I've got the auto adjustment on. Let me tweak the gain on here first, and then if that doesn't do it, we can.
Yeah, because I think you're sounding pretty clear to me, but hey, chat, you guys let us know. Okay, just got that last down attempt there for Teva here, guys. In a second, I'm going to look to start stepping up to the plate here. I just need to see the reversal pattern. So a bullish engulfing candle starting to show. Of course, that usually comes with this little hammer here. So just watching it right now on Teva to see if it's going to start working its way back. Serve says bullseye.
Like a rejection on NASDAQ. Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy on the NASDAQ right now. Just doesn't want to move, and the 541 is interesting for me on the SPY because we're close to it. It's 541.30, so wondering if that can maybe be the potential bottom.
I might try a long USO here just to see if oil is catching here, going to push its way back up. And let me know how the volume is. If you want to adjust it from here, feel free. But, as we know, if we turn off the auto adjustment, it acts wonky, so...
From the open, I'm seeing LUMN up. I know that one was trading yesterday. That's one to watch. Bullseye. If you're looking for one that's tradable and that you were trading just yesterday. LUMN, one that I'd keep an eye on. $5 seems to be holding really well. It just made a run to 530s. We'll look to see if it makes a run back to that 530s. Just undercut 5 just a little while ago. So not a bad one to kind of keep an eye out. LUMN. Serve. Yeah, it's trying to come back to that 13. We'll see if it actually makes that push back. Tim sounds louder there. All right, well, there you go.
All right.
That seems to be helping. Starbucks continuing to vomit. Yeah, I mean, dude, they gave you a gift yesterday. And this is one of those where it's very hard to hold that gift. But the gift was this should have never been up there, man. I did see on the daily, though, 97 made sense. And that's exactly where it went to. It just went to like a resistance and then started to work back. That's why I'm wondering what happens on VSCO today. Do we just keep lifting, and then tomorrow just come crashing down?
Oops.
Victoria's Secret getting a 20% pop off of newest CEO. That's crazy, right, Tim?
Yep. Oh, I didn't hear about that one, but
you didn't hear about that one? I was stunned. I'm like, new CEOs giving you 20% pops now.
Well, same for Starbucks, right? So Starbucks,
yeah,
and Chipotle.
I mean, the Starbucks one I kind of feel a little bit better on, right? Because you're like, at least you got like somebody that was viewed like very positive in the space. But then VSCO comes in and they're like, oh, dang, Starbucks got that pop? Well, let's put ours out right now. Someone in the PR department was like, yo, we need to get this out tomorrow. Let's rush this out. New CEO wearing the gear to make her come back. I don't know, man. We'll see. We'll see, Wisdom.
Oh, man. Well, it's all about the headlines, right? Like, as you were saying, if you get that energy in the stock, just get a move, sustain it with the meme energy. Like,
yeah, dude, it's just... I think that's a little bit, like, we could be honest, guys. New CEOs shouldn't cause a 20-something% spike. Like, it just doesn't add up fundamentally.
It's more of an indictment
wise.
of the old CEO, right? Who was running Victoria's Secret before?
Yeah, it definitely is an indictment of the old one, and that's how they feel about Starbucks. They're like, oh no, now things are gonna change. New CEO, Starboard, right? Investors in. I don't think you can change Starbucks really. I think it's a brand that has had its day in the sun. Because there's just too much competition coming in, and real competition. Starbucks is getting whacked down to 92s. 92 seems like an interesting kind of scalp, but I don't scalp stocks like this. Like, it's just too much money. All right, well, we're at least starting to slow up on the SPY. Not just taking out lows, right? So, I mean, at least you now got a bunch up on this 15-minute, right? So, just thinking about that.
And I'm going to take this opportunity now to try longs on some of these bio names that had some positive sounding news here. Yeah, I looked up Teva, by the way. I didn't see anything, so I don't know what's going on there.
GNLN going to a halt there, guys. 1338, 1336. This thing just lifted from 1040s. I will tell you guys right now, this thing is so highly manipulated. I traded this thing live and I watched the manipulation, Tim. It was crazy. This thing did a like $2 spike in like less than a millisecond and then was back down $2.
Oh,
like
wow.
it was a crazy one.
That's the they have the fentanyl patches, right?
Yeah, like the fentanyl patches. Yeah, the fentanyl patches. This thing just rocketing, guys. There it reopens 14 to 1440s. Remember, this thing can move all over the place. Spread is also wide on this thing, 30 to 40 cents. I've seen it. So that already scares the living heck out of me. When the spread's going like that, I love spreads that are at least within the 10 cents, right? Because at least that's something that I feel is more playable.
Yeah. Now, anyone have a take on this? I'm looking at which one is that? VR. Yeah, I keep having it backwards. Yeah, VRCA positive results on BCC, the basal cell carcinoma. 86% reduction in tumor size, but quite a sell-off there. From 538 to 394. So I don't know if that's another sell the news or if they're anticipating. I'm going to look this up, but if anyone has any insight on that, I'd love to hear it.
All right, guys, about to add to Teva and look for that move about 50 cents up there towards the 18. That's the trade that I like right now. I've been in it for a little while and started slow, right? Remember what I've talked about. slow, then looking for the bullish engulfing candle. At this point, I got a little bit of a nice little hammer. Now I need to see this body close up there towards like 56 and 58. That will give that bullish engulfing look, especially back through the VWAP, which is 1760s. So here's the step up here, guys. I'm going to go ahead and try to step up, add some size here, and then just start to size up here. Now I got 400 shares, 455. Once it goes through that 1760s, I could add like another 100 or maybe 200 to see the move to 18. We'll see what happens here. Taking a shot on Teva. And I'm also going to start taking a look at Sockell for the undercut move back to the upside. SPY just hit that 541 and stopped right on the hammer. So that's the spot that I want to start taking the trades off of, right? So we could undercut here still. Doesn't mean that it's going to completely hold up, but I do want to start a starter here in Sockell. So a starter, just trying to get a little entry.
Now here's the issue with, I did find the issue with VRCA. So they reported those results came out with their earnings, and those were good, but apparently they said we may not be able to service our debt or obtain new funds pursuant to our loan facility. So, that's another example. You can have, potentially a great product, a great medical treatment, right? And that could be, the company itself could not be as great a deal. I am going to try along here, just see if it's made its move down. We got to buy the dip, but if not, I'll probably flip short on that pretty quickly.
All right, got that bounce there in Sockell. Now we're back towards 33.67. It's already bouncing back about 20 cents there. So now going to look to start adding on pullbacks here. Big thing I need to see, though, is the Qs bounce back fast. AMD, NVIDIA, names like that before I start adding too much, right? So I just want to take it slow first, start to see that this is actually the bounce, and then I can start to really size into these names, because I'd look for them to come back all the way to the open, which is far from here, right? So give me the chance here. We'll see what happens. Dun, dun, dun. Let's go. How'd that GNLN do? Pulled back to the 13 spot, just undercut 13, went all the way as high as 15. So, man, that thing is a move and a half. Let's just say that much. Serve rejecting that 13 here today. That's pretty much been on the fade since this pre-market spike. So we'll see what happens. Well, here's the opportunity for the bulls to come in. Now the question is, do they want to come in or not? Or are they just going to see a leak out the rest of the day? Tesla has not come back to the VWAP all day, showing that weakness, right? You think about names like that, that's as weak as it gets. When stocks don't go back to the VWAP, that just shows more what? That the bid action was getting hit, right? So on the price action, you are probably seeing what? The bids get taken. Bid. So now what you would be looking for on the price action in the level 2 and the time and sales is what? Offer to get hit. So the opposite, right? So you saw bid. You want to now see offer, right? Just to give you guys perspective on like the tape reading skills that you guys can work on. These are things that I look for, right? So of course I'm looking at like 30 different stocks, so it makes it a little bit harder. But if I was just focusing on Tesla's price action, the time to sale, that's what I'd be looking for, right? How does it affect off of the offer and the bid? So if I wanted to take a look at that, of course, I just have to put it up. You can do this same thing with the platform, right? You're just looking here. Am I getting the 78s to fill? So 78s are filling, and that's what was on the offer right now, right? And so things like that. Is it the bid or is it the offer that's filling?
Yeah.
Hillary Super. Yo, Wisdom, man. Oh, Wisdom's trying to get us here, Tim.
Let's see what we got here.
This guy, Wisdom. GNLN, Bullseye. Be careful out there with that one. I know you're on the new account. I wish you the best, though, my friend. I think Bullseye finally got the... Tim, I think Bullseye finally realized, he was like, you know what, forget Interactive Broker and them stealing my $200. I'd rather go and try to try one of the mini accounts or something like that, I got to give the shout out to him because he went through the like kind of the experiment in real life. And now I really want to see him just trade, man, just trade. Right.
Yep.
Because I know how that feels when you're going after those really small accounts. It can really bring down your confidence as a trader. And that's the one thing that you can't lose. If you lose your confidence as a trader, you might as well just give your money to someone else because you're not going to be able to handle the stress. So I think that's another thing that happens with small accounts is it just puts too much stress on the trader. Right.
I mean, it's great. You know, it's great when things are going well, you know, you have that feeling like, oh, okay, like it's, you know, I can make just as money this way. I have more freedom. But, you know, when things start going the other direction, you know, you run out of working capital pretty quickly. Right. Whereas with something like Trade the Pool, then you have, you know, you can lose a pretty big chunk and still you can lose more than you might have had on hand originally and still have room to work. So
all right, guys, just added another 50 shares there in Sockell. Why? I'm seeing things work. I'm seeing Tesla start to bottom. Look at the SPY rejected that 541. We're back to 541.50. Does this mean that it can reject still from here? Yes, it could reject the 9 EMA around 541.70s and then just kind of use that as resistance. But that gives me a sign that, hey, maybe I was right off of that wick that was in the pre-market. We wicked down towards 541. We bounced right off of that level. It seems really technical to bounce off that level. Now we need to start seeing, do we recover the VWAP? VWAP is important. 542 on the SPY. Super.
Oh, just put some trails on this arm.
I want to be a super CEO. GNLN. We'll see how that one moves. It just bounced off a 13 again. Part of me wants to take a trade on that, but it's just part of me is just asking for it, right? I'll just stick to the ones that are in the green for me right now. Teva back above the 1760s tells me to look for pullbacks now to maybe get another 100 shares, but looking for this to get towards the 18s. I'm just probably going to leave it off with the 400 shares. Not a bad trade there if I can get the green here on Teva back to the upside here. So pretty good looking trade right now. Looking for this, see this work back to 1780s. And then 18. There's the SPY hitting that to the head right now. So I want to kind of pull this in to so you guys can see that. Let me go ahead and kind of pull that up here. I have a different screen for that. It's the multi-screen here. Let's go ahead. Let me bring that up. So the EMA 9 is an EMA that I use for momentum. Right now, the momentum is downside action, right? So it's downside action momentum until we cross back above that blue. And so you see how you rejected it there? That's what I just talked about just recently. Will you reject that level? We literally came to the right to it and rejected it. So now I want to see, do we get above that and start to clear back towards 542? 542 is also, as you start to get back there towards the VWAP, VWAP is going to be 542.08 right now. That's what I have. So that's a good level to look for recovery, 542. Sockell up about $40 now there. Could it just taken the $40 right now, or maybe towards, let's say, like 34s? But I'm really looking to see this start to make its way. One thing that I will do though on Sockell is be break even here. So what I mean is if it comes back and stops me out, I'm not losing on this. This is one of those positions where it's either going to go big green on me or red, right? I don't have to push too much. So that's Sockell here. We'll see if we get another little up move here and then I can take some off here. But you guys can see it. Stop loss right at my break-even spot. I don't lie about it. I'll tell you guys just how I trade it. That's it right there. This sometimes leaves like room for me to get a little down move and it washes me out. But I would rather have that right now on a day like today, right? Where I'm trading contrary to the market. 541.60s here. Let's see if we can take 541.68. Start to move back there in the SPY. I'll put up multiple charts. Any of these charts you want me to kind of put a stock there, Tim, you can let me know.
Sounds good. I'm just sort of watching the indices here.
Downside action, definitely. It bounced a decent amount there. NVIDIA not getting as far back as I thought it might get. So that's one thing to note. I was thinking maybe NVIDIA comes right back to the VWAP. It's holding resistance around this 116. 116 acting as resistance in NVIDIA. Sockell, let's see if it takes the high now, 34s. Watching it climb. And another thing to watch now for me on Sockell is kind of like a 1 minute 9 EMA and just watching for that to hold. There's 34s now showing up there for a slight second, 34.02. Next spot from here, 34.25s. And once we get to that level, I can start looking for a little bit of profit.
Yeah, I mean, anything can happen, but this doesn't look like. I mean, it's curling up, yeah, but it's still kind of within this channel. It's not that kind of maybe accelerating volume that I'd want to see. But I mean, it could just crab sideways all day too. So
yeah, definitely could. See the push maybe coming towards the 34.50s. I'm trying not to be greedy. Trying to take something right before that, so maybe like 34.30s and take 100 off there, but we'll see what happens here in the 34s.
Yep.
There's 67, 72 available for me, so might just take the money and run and look for a pullback to add. So kick this off here, looking for the nice little push here. Might just take the money and run here, guys. 34.25, something like that shows up really quickly here. I can just take the money and look for a pullback back towards 33.75s to maybe get back into the name. Just in case we get some dips here. We're getting really close to a push there to the VWAP for NVIDIA. Just to mention that. Seeing Sockell start to pull back there. 3 highs on that. Could always pull back. Then make one more push to resistance. So that's one thing that I'm keeping in mind here. There's that pullback there on the Sockell back towards that 34. This is a big spot here. They could come right back to the low. See, there you're getting that undercut there. Now it's all about this kind of 33.90s to hold here.
Now, Robinhood is looking nice today, although apparently the capital trend is... Huh.
Looking for that last little push here towards, especially a 34.50 push. Could be really a push that can happen here, so I'm keeping a close eye on that.
Now, this is a really interesting thing. I'm looking at... I'm just looking at Robinhood, HOOD, and the overall capital trend is down, but it's all tiny little. I wonder if someone's trying to paint the tape on this, because it's all tiny little trades leaving. All the big trades are buying up, like buying the dip here. It's crazy.
Get this getting this attempted down move through the 33.80s here really breaks that. It's going to come back. I did pull it off my break even about 4 cents, so it's only about a $6 risk right now. But just want to always kind of give you guys the update on that, right? GNLN, we'll see what happens on that one. That one's still holding in that 13, still hasn't pushed off the VWAP, has made multiple attempts to break down the VWAP here. So I'd take a look to see if you push back to the upside, take out 14. Put that one up in the bottom right here. GNLN. So you see here the 5 minutes, you see those multiple bottoms. That's what I was looking at. The 1, 2, 3, this fourth bottom. That's when I usually get in. After that fourth bottom, I at least know, hey, we should hold around this 1270s, breaking back down towards this 1250s. It's a breakdown. So we'll see what happens here. We go right back towards this high. 14 is at first level, and then you could go back for the 15 break. There's 13.18s. We'll see if it actually makes the move or not.
we go. Hood looks to be pushing up and through.
$542 rejected there on the SPY, and there's GNLN towards 1350s. We'll see if it takes that 14 and goes higher. It definitely was available there for me today, but like you guys, I've mentioned, right? I've been trying to stick away from these at the open there. It was an interesting trade there. There's 1370s. We'll look to see if it gets back through that 14 level, and that's really where it starts to get hot. We'll find out. SPY got close to the VWAP. VWAP now is at 542.07. We rejected into the 541.98 on the SPY. What's up out there, traders? How we doing? How did VSCL do? That's still going up. Ooh, it just pulled back to the 22s. Now trying to go right back towards the 23s. Definitely moving around here. But holding the 9 EMA on the 15-minute, and it held support at 2180s. We'll look to see if it goes back there through to 2316. Maybe eventually makes a run to 24. I could see that doing it today, and then, of course, tomorrow maybe being like Starbucks, where it made a nice move into the after hours, and then into the pre-market, it just starts to fade, fade, fade. Really close to kind of the look here for the break or fail here on Sockell. We did get an undercut of the 9 EMA, which was a fake out. Now I wanted to see it hold 33.75. So at this point, I could actually put a stop there. I'm going to put a stop at 33.71. So no matter what, I'm in the green here. Now the only question is, when do I want to step up to the plate? When do I want to add? Buy through 542 is that ad for me. You could get that rejection from the 542 spot. So I'm looking for the break above 542. All right, looking around, technology now 64% of the names in the red. Green in energy, though. That's an interesting outlook for you, Tim, right? 68.18% of energy stocks in the green.
Well, we just got crude inventory, so it sounded like there was a smaller draw than expected on crude, larger than expected on gasoline. And so, yeah, I just got stopped out of my oil long there. Should have kept a closer eye on the time so that I would have not held through that news, but that's okay.
Yeah. It could be, what is that? Recession concerns? Is that a wick down and it starts to come back up? We'll see what happens. USO is one way to play that, right? You guys can look at that. That's down there. Just did a wick there towards what? 77.07.
Yep, that's what it looks like. So I just grabbed in one more time. We'll see if that holds, but looks like it might keep heading down.
Still chopping around there on Sockell, and the SPY rejects the move through the 542s, went to 541.96. So like literally like right before it.
Yeah, worth noting as well, right? Like crude has been on a push upwards, in an even larger context. This is just right. So we came up. I've got a super trend line.
Here, I can put you up so you can show that. There you are.
Yeah, so here I'm on a daily chart, right? So we said we had this downwards thing. Then we had, my guess would be, worries of Iran doing something, right? We started pushing up. It's been up. And then over yesterday, pretty much, I think, day before, we just had this really strong move up. And that's what we're now having a pullback off of. So I've got the super trend line here. I'm not sure why my mouse is lagging so much, but I've got the super trend line here, so it could bounce here and catch and push upward. It just depends how much momentum there is to the downside from that move.
All right, got the first pop in Teva that went to the 1775. I'm really looking for that 1775 to get taken out. Go towards the 1785s, 1790s, and then I can take it all out there into the 1780s and 1790s. That'd be like a nice $142 win. So I wouldn't mind another 140, call it a day, wrap it up, take the green and run, baby. Sockell pulling me back there, stopping me out, guys, in the green, but stop out there. And the big thing there is that you get the wipeout look. I don't want to be in there for the wipeout look right now, right? Where the SPY comes down and just chapows people. Look at the right-hand top chart here. You can see the SPY. You just made a hard candle down to the support. I don't want to be hanging out there if that starts to break it, right? So there's that hard candle right back towards the low. The low right now is 540.84. Don't want to see that taken out. If that does, you start to go lower and you wash out the stops. There's the stops getting triggered. Ba-boom, ba-boom, ba-boom. Stops get triggered. Let's see if this starts to come rampant back. That could still happen, but I always pay attention to that because the truth is that was a little bit of a wipeout move. I was still in Sockell though. Guess what? I'm in the red now, right? And so that's why I'd rather stop out, reassess, could always get back in. This is something I'm really trying to practice more in. Just get back in. There's nothing wrong with it. If you take a small loss or a small win, there's nothing wrong. It's just like a cancel trade, essentially. Bulls, did you catch that GLNN? That wasn't a bad call there. That was a monster move. Look at the 14. That showed up there. Got there towards 1450s, I think. 1465s. And it's back down to the 1340s. SPY, big candle on the downside. Man, those stops got triggered. All those longs, man. All the bulls out there, they just got chapowed, man. The bears out there singing in the streets today, guys. That pullback on 26 off the VWAP was a beautiful look on Sockell or Success, if you guys were able to nail that one. So the bears out there definitely singing about this trade right here. This pullback to 26 right on the VWAP. Push to 27s now and strong there. Teva in the green there for me, so I'm going to continue to watch that. I won't let it go red now that we keep getting this kind of bearish day because healthcare is in the red and it could actually start to drag this one, even though it has a good looking chart. So we'll keep that in mind, guys, and take a look out there to see if you see more defensives take a lift now. They were up 0.47 from the open. The last hour, they're almost sideways. Now I'd look to see if those defensive names take another level higher. So let's say like Clorox. Boom. Look at that thing go, man.
What is Clorox? I was just looking at Colgate, CL, so I'm like, wait, what's
CLX? CLX.
Okay, CL and CLX, because yeah, Colgate is 101.66 and
boom. Those are trades.
Those are up on it, but
we talked about this one on the playbook. It was on the playbook on Monday. And the reason why it was off the 9 EMA, looking for this to take back 146 and going higher. Now a nice little sideways chart there. I'd look at Procter & Gamble that was weak the last 2 days. And look at that. Making a nice little move there in Procter & Gamble. PG to the 68.55. KVU was one that I was looking at earlier. Talked about how I'd like to get this one. Nice little pullback opportunity there for me on KVU. I'll take a shot on this. This is a little bit of a tighter trade. The 21.45, 21.50s is the outlook. About 20 cents higher. Could risk maybe about 10 cents there. So it's about a 2-to-1 outlook here for KVU. But we'll see what happens on these household personal products names are also the recession play. So if you're thinking about recession, these are the type of plays that like to make an up move. Utilities usually do good also in recession, so I will keep a watch on those to see if they go right back to the green. Of course, I'm still long on the XLU, and look at the reaction that we're getting on XLU here. I'll go ahead and I'll share my other screen here so you guys can see the action there. And I think it's very important to highlight that because these are the type of plays that are going to be in the focus for recessionary plays. XLU went down there early today, right back towards the upside. So NEE, Duke, Excel that I had on the playbook yesterday, definitely names that I'd be watching to see if they can do hourly pullbacks and then go back to the upside.
Looking like no real bid on crypto either, so.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe CleanSpark comes back today. It did bounce off the 11 there. So there's one that I kind of keep my watch on. I don't like Mara because of the offering shelf that's out there. But Clean Spark is one that I'd watch. It did bounce off 11s today, which was the outlook in the pre-market. Like, can we hold 11, start to come back? So that's one that I would just keep on the radar, right? Of course, if these are going to come back, it's going to be a big push. So I wouldn't overreact until it gets back through that kind of like 1140, and you can see the sideways chart right there. Kind of a what would you call this? You call this an ascending triangle, right? Because the trend line is the one that's going up, and then the horizontal line's on the top side, right? So we'll see if it breaks out of this ascending triangle in Clean Spark.
Oh, we got a catch on oil here. Of course that is because I
PG slowing down at that 169. How's the SPY doing now? Just bounced to that 541. We'll see if it recovers 541 or does it use it as resistance now?
It looks like VRCA, that's not going to happen, so I'm going to just get out of that.
Sir, rejecting that 1350s looks like a short right now for me, though. But man, it's gonna hard to come after this name. It made me a good amount of money in the morning, but we'll see what happens on serve. Now it starts to fade.
Now Walmart here, retailers again have been weird, and we've got retail sales coming up later in the week, right? But yeah, I mean Target already down as we talked about. Dollar Tree kind of crabbing. This could be a good short entry on Walmart. I mean the risk reward is good anyway. So I'll see what happens there.
All right, guys, running into a little bit of that choppy time, right? We're getting closer towards 11. This is where we could start seeing some pullbacks, and I'm seeing some chop out there where, like, we could look at NVIDIA's chart as one of those charts to give you kind of that idea, right? Like, what I mean by a chop is that now we're starting to play just within the range, up and down within the range. And so I want to see what happens when we can break this range. Is it a break to the downside? Is it a break to the upside? Same thing for like the SPY. Take a look at that. Now you want to start seeing, hey, this has been bearish, bearish, bearish. What will happen to this range here? On the 15-minute, you have about the, let's say the 541, and on the high end, 542. What happens there? Do you start to see some close either or of this, right? Is it above the 542, below the 541? In between that, I think it's just chop land. So, got in Clorox this morning, happily out now. Wisdom. Well, I mean, with the retail numbers, those could spike higher. I mean, definitely tomorrow. It's an interesting play, right? Do you guys think that the retail numbers will get hit there? And that's another bet is like on this monster that is ANF, right? If retail does bad tomorrow, this thing's back down, man. And if it does good, it could be back at 170, 180. So this has been one of the most surprising runs in the last 2 years, I will say. One of the biggest surprising runs I've ever seen. A&F. I don't know, man. I guess everybody's shopping at Abercrombie. Tim, you're buying up all the Abercrombie, right? That's what it is?
Oh, yeah.
Sockell, man. Now back to the 34s. I mean, this is now you get that wick, right? You got that undercut wick. Now you're back through the 34s. Do you get the SPY back through the 542? Look to see that recovery of NVIDIA back through 116. Those are levels that I could look at to start seeing that, yeah, you do want to come back. So now at this point, I'd look at Sockell as kind of more a scalp SPAC, right? So you see how it ramped back to the 34. That's kind of what you needed to see if the bulls are going to bring this back. Now I'm still looking at SPY. SPY's only at 541.50.
And hood is pushing. I'll get ready to scalp my first piece there.
Teva's just hanging out, guys. I'm looking at the 15-minute. Don't want it to start to kind of come back there. It could come back all the way to the 56 and there's no point in hanging out in that after that. So I'm giving it the chance here to really make the push above the 75s towards the 80s and 90s. All metals down except for copper. Good mention there. Basic materials I do see down, but in the last hour they are bouncing a little bit. I will mention that. But overall, what's getting hit the most? Coal, gold, and aluminum in basic materials.
How's lumber doing today? I remember reading somebody's theory that you could look at the copper lumber spread as a economic indicator.
So lumber is down a little bit there. The one that I like to trade, or at least I look at, is WFG. This thing loves to do these big range bound moves. Look at the weekly on this thing. It's actually pretty impressive how it stays within the range. But look at this thing. It just goes up and down through that Bollinger Band, man. Look, it's crazy. It's up,
oh wow,
down, up, down, up.
WFG,
down,
huh?
up,
I'm gonna
down. Might have to play it on one of those down swings, Tim. Right? We might just have to play it. If it's going to keep doing this for dude, it's been doing this for 2 years. You don't think somebody's making money on that? Hell yeah, there's somebody making money on that.
As soon as I start that strategy, it'll change up, right? The pattern will drop.
I know how that one goes, Tim. I know how that one goes. That's the same way I felt about GNLN. If I would have got in it, it probably wouldn't have made that $14 run. So that's just how it is sometimes, guys.
And speaking of spreads, it looks like NASDAQ is pushing up a little, kind of stalling out, but Russell, notable weakness compared to NASDAQ. So
XLU 74.32s. I still got the swing trade on there, guys. That's actually doing pretty well. I did take a swing trade there in HRL, but I got like the smallest size there, guys. And just taking a look at it. Looks like I was supposed to have a bigger order out there, but something happened there. I don't know what happened on my end. Definitely was trying to get like 100 shares there. I got 1 share fill. Tim, looks like I made a mistake there on that order form. Nothing like having 1 share, right? I'm up.
You've got your mark.
I'm
right?
up.
You set your entry.
Yeah. I just had it out there just to try to get a fill. So what I'll do is I'm just going to cut it out of the position right now. This is not going to give me a gain. This is going to give me a cancel trade. But I'll just look for a pullback to get in on that. XLU doing really well, up about 100. What are you seeing there in oil? Is that oil?
Which one? On the right?
Yeah.
Yeah, on the right is oil. And yeah, it looks like it's just continuing to be weak there. So
okay.
It tried wicking up, but yeah, it's just rejecting again. So we're probably
seeing a couple pullbacks on those stocks. XOM was strong. Now we're seeing that pullback come in there. Chevron is the weak one, down to 143.50s. That actually looks like a rejectionary move there. Oxy also pretty weak. So it looks like XOM was kind of like the better one of the bunch, and now really starting to take a hit. So we'll see what happens there. Hendricks, what are you doing up here, bud? You know that you're not supposed to be up here.
I just see the tail wagging like nothing else.
Yeah. He said, you know what? I'm hopping up and taking my opportunity. He's an opportunist. You know how those go in trading.
Aren't we all?
Aren't we all in trading, man? Just trying to take the opportunities that present themselves. All right, guys, this is one of those days where, to tell you the truth, I mean, what have I taken? I've taken a trade on Teva, and I've taken a trade on Sockell. Sockell ended in the green. What made me the money this morning was just serve. And I've been taking more trades like that, trying to give myself a cushion. I'll still take a trade. I'll still take a shot, but don't want to be pushing too much. And if I don't see golden opportunities, got to see some higher quality opportunities. Clover Health getting a move today. You never see that stock move often. That's a retail favorite. Clover Health. Here's Sockell now starting to really move there. There's that 34.20s here, so it's available to you. If you want to start taking the shot there, SPY is starting to climb back there. I'm going to use Sockell as an indicator to tell me that, hey, yes, we are starting to push back. So Sockell is towards 34.30s, take 34.50s, and I'm going to start looking at like an AMD comeback, and that is coming back. It's already from the 138s to 140s, You could also take a look at Nvidia above the 116. You just broke that. Tesla was really weak. You're bouncing off the 201. So if you're looking for one that's right off the support, that's still weak. Could bounce off of that one. Amazon's one that I'm looking at. That's also still off the lows. So keep your eyes on names like that. I see you looking at TSM there. Not a bad one, Tim, to take a look at. I can't blame you for it, right?
Well, I'm already in ARM. I rode that one up a bit, so that has redeemed some of my other plays this morning. AMD and NVIDIA, as you said, already kind of pushed up there a little bit, but TSM looks like if it follows the others. Obviously, we've still got China concerns and just recession overall demand, but again, from a risk reward standpoint, it's got the biggest opportunity, it looks like to me.
GNLN just making a bunch of moves now back towards 1485. Looks like it wants to keep going. What a monster move on that one today.
Hood continuing
Reborn
to push.
Coffee. Reborn Coffee had just halted up to 5. Now it's back reopened. What is going on in Reborn Coffee today, guys? Looks like the caffeine is working out there in Reborn Coffee.
What's the ticker?
I think that's the one that REBN. I think that's the one that has like 300 milligrams of caffeine.
Oh, nice.
So,
I know there's the Death Wish coffee. They have a pretty high amount.
Reborn. I think that's the military owned one, the veteran owned one. 34.66 on Sockell, guys. We're starting to get that move back here. So definitely missed out the Sockell trade, but I'm going to start looking at different trades like AMD and other trades out there, guys. Get after it. What do you guys got out there?
And I will always push this. I'm not even sponsored. I should try to get sponsored, but Rockstar, my favorite. Nice balance of caffeine levels and hydration. I did have this morning, so it was really tasty. I remembered how tasty it was, but the Sweet Black Nitro Cold Brew from Monster. So
there you go.
That's really good. I should look at energy drink stocks generally, but let's see how Monster looks. But then again, it was at the Dollar Tree actually, and they had a ton of them for 50 cents a pop. So I don't know if that says anything about either Dollar Tree or Monster, but.
It's all about the Celsius, man. Nvidia already making about $1 move off that 116 up there towards almost 117 now. Teva making me money right now. That's why I'm not just jumping into trades. Like Teva can make me a good gain already, and I've been working that.
Monster chart not looking to
spy at 542.
It looks bearish overall. But it looks bearish overall for Monster, but it looks like there's some room up if we do get that catch on the overall market. And let's not forget, we are going into the London close in about 40 minutes here. So what you could have right now, this could be just, it's their power hour, so you could just have some shorts covering right now. And we could continue on with the trend. So, you could do it. You could do a pairs trade here. You could do long Monster, short Celsius. I mean, maybe the move's already played out, but if we fall through right there, right, like there's plenty of downside for Celsius. So
yeah, Celsius is one that I can tell you at least is definitely the #1 energy drink bought out there in the market right now, and so we got to just see if that comes back. Will the focus come back there for defensive area? I mean, they're going to move side by side, I think. It's surprising to me to see Monster at least holding well. I think that in the long run, Celsius does have an advantage over Monster just because it's the newer one, right? We all know how new sometimes acts as sexy. And I think that's what's going on here. In the long run...
Well, we saw it with the Victoria's Secret CEO, right? The new CEO,
exactly,
right?
Baby.
It's new.
New
We don't
and
want
sexy,
the old one.
baby.
We want the new one.
Yep. That's just how it is, man. They're always looking for the new one. Just like the penny stock players, right? Always looking for the new one. Greenland Holdings, man. The monster that is Greenland. Look at that thing, man. Look at this thing. We were looking at it when it was doing for the 13 move. It's going to 16.
Ooh. Oh, man.
15-minute candles. would take you away from the stress, right? But if
Now,
you looked
small
at
caps
this
generally
compared to this, that's a lot more stress, right? And so try to find something that works for you guys, man. That 13 here recovery, it went to 14, came back though to 1320s right on the VWAP, and then just rocketed. What a nice
still
move there.
notable weakness on the Russell. I mean, it might play catch up now, but so far at least that Nasdaq Russell spread is nice for now. And yeah, that'll be interesting. I've been thinking we might have like a debate on the Discord on that. We might touch on it with Michael's going to be on the Discord tomorrow, and then I guess he's on the show with you tomorrow. Michael Katz, CEO of Trade the Pool. So we will be having a live Q&A. So maybe we'll touch on that tomorrow. I know he's always looking at like Nasdaq index. So one thing we often hear debated a lot, and this goes to our earlier thing, is like how much macro affects small caps, right? Like. You know, and then in that, you know, can you look at, because I get the feeling a lot of people don't really even look at even the Russell index, like Russell 2000, when they're looking at small caps. And that kind of indicates, you know, your risk on or risk off climate for the small caps. But I guess people are often looking more for just the individual moves. But
big level here, guys, for Teva, guys. About to take the profits and run, but just taking a look at it here, guys. It's a 1054, about to take the profits. So looking to see if I could get the pop into the 90s. I got there towards the 83. Would love to get 1790s and just run. Could go to 18 today, but like always, guys, I'm just trying to make another little cushion, keep myself moving forward towards the weekly goal. Let's keep pushing. Let's see what happens. Big level on the SPY at the 542 level. It is just like touching it, tapping it, pulling back, touching it, tapping it, pulling back. Keep your eyes on that level. A lot of bulls will be watching that level. What's a clear sign that you maybe get above that level? It's like the next whole dollar up, right? So you're looking at 543. You recovered the open price. Opening price is going to be very important. All right, guys, 10:55 in the second here. We'll see what happens on Teva, but we're going to start wrapping it up in just a second here, guys. Dun, dun, dun. Come on, Teva. Let's go back to that 1790s.
Carvana is also, speaking of risk on memes, you know, that whole thing. Carvana is not quite a double bottom, but maybe at an angle we might have had a double bottom, but Carvana is pushing strong.
Yeah, you know, one thing that gave a report that will help there is I mentioned it on the CPI. What was the biggest down seasonal adjustment was used cars. So inflation coming down on used cars, right? So that's one thing that I can point to.
I tweeted that earlier, but hey, you may lose your housing, but at least you can get a cheap old car to live in. So that's the saving grace in our economy right now.
That's how it is, man. Have a blessed one, Wisdom. Stay safe out there, man. Lost over 200 on several trades. Not my fault. I set a stop loss and it never hit. Then stopped me out. I mean, it has to hit to get there. You know, bullseye, that's one thing that, you know, we'll take a look at. If you want, we can review your trades, man. If you want to come on, we can always review your trades. And 200, you know, one of the things that we talked about in the morning, Bullseye, is trying to stick to the rules that you were trying to set. I feel like that went over your rules, but of course you do your own assessment, man. I'm here to help you. Like always, like we said, we want to keep each other accountable the same way you guys are going to keep me accountable, right? And that's what it's all about, guys. That's the only way we get better, is keeping each other accountable, having people that are really trying to see us succeed, and focus on what? Focus to our profit to loss ratio, focus on how we're approaching the day, how we're approaching the system. It's so important to have people that can support you. All right, 100%. Teva, back to 1780s. Let's go. Just a little pop here. Give me the money. I will take my over $300 and just celebrate the day. Here's 84 is starting to make the move here. Let's go. Get there towards like the 88s or 90s here. I definitely will take it off here. In a second, I'm just going to throw out the 90s to see if I get a pop fill. Just want to see like 85s or 86 show up there, and then I'm going to throw out the 90s. See if we can get it here on Teva and call it a day. Only need a Volkswagen, computer, and Wi-Fi connection. That's it. That's all you need for trading, right? I actually I'm looking to do this a little later in life. Tim, maybe you join me. Maybe we knock this out. We do a trade the pool tour around the Eastern United States. We get some big RV. We load that thing up. We do trading on the RV in the mornings. Then we go out.
I got
fishing
friends
in
all
the
up and down the
afternoon.
Eastern Seaboard. I got some trading friends here in the Carolinas, and Annette, one of our mods, is in one of the A states. You know, all right, it's a little ways away, but we'll pile everyone in a big van or something and just big RV. It'll be great.
Oh yeah, we're getting the big boy. We're going on that tour size RV. We're gonna get some TVs in there. We're gonna do some content, trading on the road.
Yep.
Do some road shows. All right, guys, definitely smash it up out there, guys. Teva, we'll see what happens, guys. I'm just hanging off the 1779, looking to see if the 90 MA holds. That's really what get me out. If it starts to break down, I'll get out on that. I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up, at least on Teva. Of course, you guys know that at least not having a bad day there. A little bit smaller orders than I normally have. You guys know I trade a little bit more than this. But, hey, sometimes there's going to be days where you feel like you didn't have it. And today was one of those days, only 12 tickets. Sometimes 30, 40 tickets. But look at Sockell, now up there towards 35. So, yeah, 150 shares. Even that would have been a nice little win, right? So we'll see what happens as that starts to come back. The SPY 542.40s now held that 542s, then cleared it. Just recently, we went to it and just faded off of it. Now you're getting that recovery. We'll see what happens. There's Teva. There's the 1786 there. Let's go ahead. You know what? Let's just take the profits and run here. Boom! Market out, baby. I will take it. Let's go. Another 124, 353 in the day. We'll take it, man. We'll take it, right? I can be greedy and go for the 18 there. There's no need, man. Just take the money and run. Can't be mad about that. All right. Any wrap up for you, Tim, that you want to go ahead and mention? If not, we'll start to head for the doors here.
Nope. I would just say I'm going to look for the next half hour here, going into the London close to set a direction. See if this is just people unwinding positions, and then look to see if there's a reversal back down, and if so, whether that sustains. Other than that, I think it's going to be a day that's tough to predict one way or the other. So. 1000%. We'll see what else is out there. GNLN is crazy bullseye, so you guys be safe out there with that one. I'm sure we'll see it probably being the top traded ticker on Trade the Pool today. Definitely, if you want to learn a little bit more about that, keep up with the social on our Twitter. We put out a lot of information for you guys to go ahead and catch that. We'll see you next time. Tim, always good to trade with you. We'll be back tomorrow with, of course, Michael, our CEO, coming in to join. He's had some pretty good luck in the trading action live. We'll see how he does tomorrow, guys. Come tune in. I'll see you guys back at 8:30. Tim, always good to be with you guys. We'll be back tomorrow, team. Smash the like before you get out of here.